Hello, for the 4 hours of the Nürburgring Nordschleife here in the Eifel Mountains in Germany. We're on lap 4 of this 4-hour race, so we still got about 3.5 hours left to go, exactly actually. With Zoltan Topp leading for Mugen in LMP1. What do you think he's doing, Chris?
Sorted, you're on.
Hello and welcome back to the Nordschleife for the 4 hours of the Green Hell. We are, how far in are we now? We're 36 minutes into the race, so 5 laps. We're on lap 5 at the moment. And Zoltan Topp leads LMP1 by 36 seconds over Bradley Sellers. In LMP2, Oliver Prikian leads for Into the Points Racing over Tobias Blumschein by 2.9 seconds. In GD3, Thomas Abascal leads for Into the Points Race number 48 to the tune of 17 seconds over Toff, Joseph Toff. So certainly Toff not quite able to live with the pace of a Baskel and falling into the clutches of Valencia, I believe. But unfortunately we missed some of the action there with Fabian Ballet falling into trouble, going off at the carousel, and allowing Blumschein, Varconi, and Valente all to get past him. So, anyway, hopefully we can... hopefully the sound is alright on your end. I wouldn't know because I've muted the sound because it's annoying having to hear yourself echoing 50 times in a race, especially at the Nordschleife for some reason, where it feels, even though it's 4 hours, it feels like an incredibly long race. As we look at David Martin going through the Caracciola S and chasing down the Fring of Bonders. Toff pits from the lead. Oops. And I've just shut down the overlay. Great. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Alright. We can't control the cameras. There it is. Okay. Now we can control the cameras. Right, so let's see the leader pitting if we can. David Martin continues to circulate, and Sellers is pitting at the same time as well. So this is what we were warned about, that everyone was probably going to start pitting on the same lap, as we see yellow in the first sector. Not sure who that is. Probably in the GP loop where everyone is at the moment. Looks like everyone's moving. As Toff continues to be serviced. So will this allow Janssen Bintz to retake the lead? Or was that early stop at the end of the second lap a strategic masterstroke? We'll have to wait and see if it pans out that way. I imagine it was more of a pit for repairs. There's Bintz. So Moynier is pitting as well, and I imagine Listola doing likewise. So can Janssen Bintz get to the end of this straight and go through the final chicane and through the start-finish straight before Zoltan Toff leads the pits? I think Toff is just about to leave, actually, so I think Bintz might be...
Toff is already out.
Yeah, so he's a bit too far behind. But it'll be interesting to see where Bintz filters out here. Oh, narrowly avoiding the barrier there.
He's got second place, so...
So he's come out ahead of Sellers. So both Valet and Iris actually not having a great starts to the race in LMP2. Listola now just coming out the pits. But there is Toff, who's now well and truly in the race lead to the tune of 19 seconds. See if Perikian now coming in the lead in LMP2. So will Blumschein do the same? Yes, he will, as will Varconi and Ballet. There we go, still under pressure from Alessandro Valente, who I think he's just got back through on. But yeah, they're all pitting, so the strategy is converging then, because it's such a long lap. And is that Gazowski? Where's he? He's up into 6th now in the Roy Tun Racing car, in number 40. So Gazowski actually having a quietly impressive run, actually, to keep all these lead teams inside. Oh, he turns across on the class leader. That's Perikian, who's been horribly delayed now, Oliver Perikian. And is that going to allow Tobias Blumschein to get out ahead as we see the Freeman Von car now coming in?
He's closer.
Yeah, there we go. That looks like Tobias leaving the pits just in the background. So yeah, dramatic moment there, and I wonder if Gazowski, because they did say in the pre-race drivers briefing, hey, it's not
Perikian's got a penalty.
Oh, is that for contact in the pits, perhaps? We'll have to see. But that is big news there in LMP2. And potentially, this swings things towards Iris now. If Tobias Blumschein can keep Oliver Perikian in sight.
Oh, and he's off. Oh, no, he's not.
Yeah.
Evans... Are people leaving the pit lane and cutting the white line? Is that what's causing them to get a penalty?
Could be. I didn't see him. Yeah, Evers now getting one as well. I didn't see Perikian cut the white line though, unless it was on the inside. But that would be very harsh if so. We'll have to see what happens here. Into the Points might protest this, but we will keep on top of this if we can.
I don't know what's going on with Perikian, but he's
Barconi's been given a penalty as well. So it sounds like they're all... It could be for the pit entry, you know, as, yeah, certainly Perikian's connection not looking great.
Yeah.
To us, at least. But may as well watch this, because I think this is the closest battle on track, despite the latency. So Tobias needs to be careful he doesn't get lagged into here. That would be typical Tobias. Blumschein being running out of luck spectacularly. Let's have a look at the stewards' chat, if there's nothing there so far, actually.
From what I read from the pre-race briefing, is any complaints or anything filed will be looked at after the race.
Because it's such a long lap, yeah. I'll have to cover it all, I guess.
Can the 46 into the points racing car swap to a different driver as soon as possible, please? This is due to severe lag.
Okay.
Thank you.
So it's not just on our end then. So I think Tobias is actually taking it very gingerly.
Well, he's basically got the race lead because they're going to have to come in and pit and do a driver change.
But he needs to be careful he doesn't get taken out here. Look, there's a lapped car.
That'll be the Ferrari from earlier.
Could be. Yeah, and that's seriously holding up Perkin, actually. It is the Ferrari. Still in the race, surprisingly. Tobias will have to go all around the outside of it, and does so. That's, of course, the 127, I think, of Tar Canho. Or is it Hallam Voice? No, it's the 206 of Hallam Voice, of course. Look at that balloon in the background. It's a lovely day for balloon flying, isn't it, Ryan?
Indeed. And, well, it looks like Prukan's sorted himself out now, so whether or not he still has to come in and pit.
But that's a bit like having a meatball flag, isn't it? The black flag with orange disc, which is for like your car's unsafe. You need to come in the pits because the bit's falling off it. But this is the internet connection version of that, and certainly got it under control at the moment. But we'll have to see if there's a repeated call or if they rescind the previous call, because Prickin's internet connection could deteriorate again. But we've got to keep an eye on this. Meanwhile, Abascal, in the sister into the points car, has ballooned out the gap to Toff. It's 20 seconds in GD3. And in fact, Valencia is right behind Toff, actually. Only about 3/10. So
these two have been close for the last couple of laps.
They have indeed. Valencia really putting the pressure on. Now that the 86 has kind of dropped out of it with its collision with Voice, I think.
Yellow's in Sector 1. I did just about see someone drop down the order.
Yeah, I wasn't sure who that was. Someone perhaps in the LMP2 field. But here we go. Valencia has actually got a decent run on the straight. As I'm very far behind, actually, on the stream. So I'm going to disconnect and reconnect.
Run, they've gone through the kink.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Mario Valencia weaving this way and that, looking for an opening. Here we go through the last little chicane before they rejoin the GP loop.
It seems that Toff's McLaren is wider than regulation.
Yeah, is he going to dive? What's Valencia going to dive it into the first chicane here, or will he think better of it? Here we go, because he's tucked right in, but he's not quite close enough. Remember that first lap where Toff went really wide at the first corner, and that's what's really allowed Abascal to steal a march on everyone, really. To Blumschein now 2 seconds behind Perkin. So Perkin's got it under control. I think unless he's forced to come into the pits to change drivers, which would be a big shame. Hopefully he's allowed to stay out. As I look at this, Toff really struggling at this phase. I wonder if he's been a bit hard on those rear tyres. Because we've seen Paul Street boys, their driving style in touring cars especially, they do love to chew through the rear tyres here at the Nordschleife. We saw that in the touring car races so often that they were just easy meat on the exit corners by the end of the race.
Yeah, because I've seen multiple yellows coming out. And in fact, actually, Toff's done the fastest final sector in the lead. I was just trying to look through the sector times and the driver's standings just to see if there's any changes, because I've seen a couple of yellow flags come out in quick succession. But it all looks okay.
Could be someone near the very back in trouble. Like, it might have been the lapped car of Hallam Voice, actually. Some of the others as well. I think there's an LMP2 down there that's really out of position. Michael Cole's DNF'd, of course, so... It's Tar Canhow in the 127 and Hallam Voice that are the real tail-end strugglers as Mario Valencia really closes in into turn 13. As Brickian's pulled another 2 seconds on Tobias Blumschein, so Yeah, certainly looking like GD3 here. This is the main battle, isn't it? And it's certainly Mario Valencia piling on as much pressure as possible. And the 444 really, really needs... Oh, look how wide they're both going there. The 444 really needs all the points it can get from this round in its title battle with against Mugen 88. Oh, look at the rear of the Freeman sliding as they go through past the old BMW graffiti. I'm probably very behind. I apologise for that, ladies and gentlemen. I can't really help it. Because the resolution is now apparently too high for my software.
Oh, and Valencia's gone wide.
Oh dear. So that might break up this battle for a bit then.
No, he's held on to it. He's probably lost a car length.
There we go. He was very lucky not to hit the barrier, actually. But certainly the championship is very contingent on them getting a big score here. And with Baskel stretching away, it could well turn out that these three teams end up being the new protagonists of the championship. If Arnage and Satellite don't come back and Mugen decide to focus on the top classes. Perikian's come in, so he has obeyed instructions. Tobias Blumstein does take the lead. Like you say, Ryan, Oliver Perikian coming in to change driver, so that's really a bitter blow for the 46's race, isn't it? Because Perikian, it looked like his internet got under control, but there was the steward's instruction. He couldn't disobey it, could he?
No, and the problem is that's just 10 seconds in the box. Is he going to lose out to Evans? I think.
Has a new driver? No, new driver hasn't gotten on board. Interestingly enough.
So, is that the stop go? The 10-second stop go penalty?
That might be it then. So we should see Varconi and Evers in a second. Evers has got ahead of Varconi. Interestingly enough, so Evers has actually had a really good lap. There they are. Actually, they're going to pit in a lap's time, I think, because they're just coming on the main straight, just behind Perikian.
Yeah. I think if it's anything like usual rules, I think you have up to 3 laps to serve it.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on here, because David Martin and Raphael Meyer have jumped Valente Neuberger, who came into the pits. So I think Martin and Meyer must be doing an extra couple of laps then. Or they jumped them in the pits because they had a really horrible stop.
Yeah, possibly. Maybe that Martin and Meyer have managed to save a bit more fuel, so you spend a little less time because the fuel is the longest part of the pit stop.
Vince has actually interestingly cut the gap to Toth to 20 seconds now. It was 22. So I don't think Vince is out of this one just yet, despite that early stop. So we should keep an eye just a little bit on that battle just to see how it develops.
Well,
yeah, go on.
He did have blistering pace at the start and had some 5-second gap, wasn't it, come the end of the first lap?
Yeah, so it's certainly that mistake that damaged the car that really forced a bit of a setback. Valencia is now caught right back up again, but he's about to be lapped here by the LMP1 of that looks like Toff actually. Or is that Bradley Sellers? No, it is Toff, as Valencia goes very wide and lets him through. What corner are they at? Let me have a look. As we see now, he's clearing Toff in front of him.
Oh, that's Carousel.
It is, yes.
Oh, and that's given Valencia a bit of a drive, but not quite. Toff manages to hold off.
Yeah, that's right on board. McLaren versus McLaren. And Valencia looking once again very menacing in that dark black and orange car. There's the Paul Street Boys car mounting the curbs, looking very, very vulnerable in that blue, yellow and black colour scheme. 24 seconds now, the gap to the leader. So Valencia, the chance of the 444 car challenging for the lead now is decreasing every lap they stay stuck behind Paul Street Boys, because they're clearly a little bit faster, aren't they?
Indeed, but this is the trouble with the Nürburgring is it's very tight. It's almost a bit like a very long-winded Monaco in a sense of how wide these cars are compared to the track.
Monaco without trees instead of houses. Yes.
Yeah.
And also it's a bit more elevation than Monaco. Monaco does have like the run down to the Lowe's hairpin and things like that.
Yeah, you still got going from Saint-Devote
over the bump they go
to Hotel de Paris up the hill.
Yeah, certainly, but it's not quite the 300 meters up, more than 300 meters, I think, elevation up and down over the whole circuit from lowest to tallest point. As Perikian and Varconi are battling, I think. What was going on there? That might have been a timing screen glitch, actually. But Valencia. Oh, there we go. There goes Bince in second place.
Manages to sieve his way through a little bit easier than Toth as well.
Yeah, but the gap has actually gone up to 22 seconds, at least temporarily. So we'll have to see if... Actually 19 seconds on my end, although we'll have to see if that pans out and ends up being accurate. But Valencia, the gap here, nothing at all. And Valencia once again. Now, do you think he's just content to tuck behind in the straight? Do you think maybe Valencia is saving his engine a little bit? Because I think towards the end of this, we could see engine life being really delicate.
I'd say saving fuel. I wouldn't say saving engine, because being tucked up in the dirty air of someone is actually worse for the engine. As he goes to take second position, but the car's still there. They're side by side still. Toff. Oh, they bang wheels and Toff goes off onto the grass and Valencia's through.
Oh dear. Very tough stuff between the two of them, but Valencia just edging out. And is he going to let him back through here? Because the Port Street Boys car once again closing in. What can Joseph Toff do? His battle for his first ever podium in EERC goes to the outside at turn 1. They then thinks better of it, actually.
I thought he was going to have a little bit of a better run out of turn 1, but he just took a little bit too much curb, and it disrupted the momentum.
And again over the chicane as well, so... Big tyre barrier. It's odd seeing that old chicane, because it used to be the way the Nordschleife was up until about 2002, when they introduced the Mercedes-Benz Arena bit. The Nürburgring, sorry, not the Nordschleife.
Indeed, it looks like what Toff needs to do is just try and hang on.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, there's certainly a tendency for the Port Street Boys to wear out the tyres a bit more, and that could be that could make the end of the stint quite interesting. But Valencia now, 26 seconds nearly the gap. So really, Valencia needs to get a move on if he wants to win his class. As a 444 want to as well, because I'm not sure Baskel's teammates are going to be quite as strong as he is, because Baskel always tends to start the race and do qualifying for into the points number 48. So I think 444 with Nick Homewood and co, I think they've got a good chance of getting into the lead, or at least fighting for the lead and closing the gap. But unless Joseph Toff has anything to say about that.
Toff's trying too hard, I think, now. He's made a few scrappy errors.
And that looks like Brad Sellers coming to lap them as well.
Yes.
Yeah, another opportunity gone, and for some reason I was hoping I had a picture of the track map, but I'd gone to the Discord server and looked at a discussion between Chris and someone else, and Chris has just posted a big anime picture of like a girl with blue hair. So I was like, expecting to see the track of the Nordschleife, and I just saw a blue hair girl, which is a bit weird. Here we go. I've got the track right now, so I can recite all the corner names. Should really learn the track off by heart by now, but it is like 170 corners, and there are a lot of tracks in this game, to be fair. I think Valente has cleared Mayer, Rafael Mayer. There's our bottling motorsport Felix Neuberger closing on him as well. In this, the battle for 7th position. As Perikian has come into the pits again, has he? So perhaps he now has to do the driver change. Yeah, Varconi up to second now. They got 33 seconds. So you've got to say, from Tobias Blumschein's point of view, this is a bit of a dream
as well.
Yes, and Neuberger has just pulled out as well to try and attack Rafael Mayer. And easily getting through, actually, so Mayer couldn't really do much about that one.
Yeah, so Evans doing the... and that looks like that's Neuberger coming into the pits now, is it?
Yeah, indeed it is. So Neuberger in trouble because he came in around the same time Perikian did, so I wonder if Neuberger's serving the penalty. Now, Varconi oddly enough. I could have sworn he had a penalty to serve too, but maybe that there's been some kind of behind-the-scenes discussion that we didn't see. But either way, Volcano continues. Or maybe he did serve it and we just didn't see.
The 46 car.
Yeah, he gets out just behind Sismierde in the Paul Street Boys 758. So it's gone really from looking very good to looking very, very bad, as now Arde Erken has now gotten on board the 36. So they have eventually done the driver change, whether they wanted to or not.
Yeah, they've sorted out the dial-up, hopefully, and away they go. And
now it's Mia Levers' turn to attack Rafael Meyer in the 42. Lovely livery on the 42, actually.
Yeah, it's quite refreshing.
That'd be the Zurich Virtual Racing, the new team, number 42, I think.
Yeah, and obviously Evers, after serving his 10-second penalty, back out.
By the way, I should apologise. I've been calling number 40 the Roy Tunn racing car, but it's actually Boyd Transport Racing, of course, is the name of the team. I think named after... Is it Wayne Boyd who is the manager of that team? I forget. But he's certainly not someone I've interacted with all that often. As Evers now very, very close to the back of Rafael Meyer and looking for a move into that must be 5th place now with, of course, Erken dropping behind them.
Interestingly, Bintz is still closing down on top for the lead, bit by bit.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't feel like Valet have given up there, but at Fabian Valet, meanwhile, still going last in class. Yes, best first sector, 45. Best final sector, 45 seconds, 0.2 on the final lap. So whatever happened to him, he's starting to recover a bit. He's 47 seconds by Nick Conan, though, as Hallam Voice gets a penalty. As we see, is that Martin in trouble? David Martin.
Yes, he's lost the rear wing.
Dear, big accident then for the 72. Was running third, doing ever so well. And David Martin has come to grief.
I wondered if I could see something...
that could be a code 80 as well. That looks a bit dangerous. Is he going to try and get that back, or is he going to have to retire David Martin?
I'm not sure.
Because it's crabbing horribly. He's still got all 4 wheels.
Yeah, he's not...
Which is something.
He's not spun, so he's still making gentle progress. So, Race Direction did say that they're going to be a bit more lenient on the code 80s. They don't want to throw it unless they have to, i.e. a multiple car pileup or a blockage on the track.
Yeah, let's have a look. Where is Martin in terms of gaps to the people behind him? It's looking a little bit spaced out, actually, apart from this battle here. I think he's in the middle of Sector 1. Yeah, he must be that blue car. The problem is that the track routes are really tiny, and if anyone's... Because it's showing them above the head, if they're not low enough, I can't see who the name is. It's, yellow in Sector 1, which must be for Martin, continuing to struggle down in... Where has he dropped to in the order now? As Jansen Bintz pits in second place, so they have the tyres already wearing out. Look, David Martin is 16th overall, just behind Nick Conan and Neuberger and Erkan.
Is he in Sector 1?
Yeah, so he's 10th then in the order. He is about 118 seconds ahead of Ballet. Let's look at Evers continuing to challenge. But it looks a bit like Rafael Meyer has got things under control.
As we've got 3 hours to remain.
Yeah, we've just hit the end of the first hour mark. And certainly interesting hour. Sorry about the interruption earlier on, ladies and gents. Refresh the overlay, see if it will illuminate. I think Baskel is coming to the pits now. So Binz has got going ahead of Sellers. So he's been able to jump Bradley Sellers and Loic Monier.
Can the 72 car retire, please?
Yeah, so there we go. The call has come. Dave Martin dropped to the very back of the LMP2 field now, and has now been called to retire. There he is. He's stopped by the side of the road, so Dave Martin clearly can't continue. And that's a very sad end for Reading Game number 72. Although 27 still going in 6th in GD3, as all the leaders in GD3 are pitting now, as well as Moynier in LMP2.
Yeah, obviously these GT3 cars got slightly larger fuel tanks and can last a bit longer than the thirstier.
Yes, Abascal should be getting away first, though. Looks like everyone got in cleanly.
And it looks like Jaeger is taking the lead, and Kiss.
Well, Jaeger's has carried on, isn't he?
Yeah, and so is Kiss.
Yeah, there we go. We just saw Kiss going through there as well. Tibor Kiss and Thomas Jaeger. For what teams do they drive for again? Let's see. It's the HHR and 36 and Team Imperium number 16. So Abascal's task now is to clear them, surely, because they could really hold him up and push him back into the clutches of Toff and Mario Valencia. Speaking of which, who is going to get away first? Is it going to be Valencia or Toff? Because they were still fairly close together, weren't they?
I would imagine, in theory, Valencia spending a good few laps behind Toff in the slipstream would have saved a bit of fuel. So I'd have thought his pit stop might be a couple seconds shorter.
But maybe he used up a bit of fuel getting past him.
Possibly.
We'll have to see. But certainly, I'm impressed that there's been as much strategic convergence as there has been. As what's this? Like Meunier is pitting a drop behind Tobias Blumschein in the order as Valencia gets going again ahead of Toff. There we go. He's just jumped off. There is Tobias and Monsieur Arasaka, who's gotten on board the number 8, the championship leading Iris in LMP1. Let's not forget. So down in 5th at the moment, but struggling to get back past Listola. Certainly Tobias Blumschein will have to go out of the way once Arasaka catches up to him. Not just because they're the same team, but because the LMP1 is so much faster. So he's kind of not got much choice. Let's watch Abascal now, because he's only about 6.4 behind Tibor Kiss. So I think he'll catch both of them before the end of the lap, or at least Tibor Kiss, if not Tamas Jaeger as well. But great to see Jaeger lead a lap at least in the 36.
Great. Corvette and Aston Martin up front. Now, that's something we haven't seen that often. It's been very much dominated by the McLarens recent.
Also, Ricardo Riva in the Callaway Corvette EFA Racing Team car is pitting from 7th. They started near the very, very back. They didn't set a lap in qualifying. So that's been a pretty impressive recovery from them, especially with the 86 being out, which also started at the back. We saw it get up to 3rd and then crash out with Voice. So Hallam Voice still going, surprisingly.
Yeah, I think Voice didn't really take too much impact in that instant on the first lap. I think he was quite lucky and just managed to escape with a few minor
just a few flash wings, yeah. But the gap's really ballooning out in most classes, apart from GD3 is the most interesting for me at the moment, although LMP2 has had its moments as well.
It's just interesting to see how I was about to say, it was interesting to see how stiff the McLaren is, and I think because of how stiff the McLaren looks, it's caused him to the suspension just to unload off the bump and understeer off into the corner at that point.
Yeah, I'm just behind and catching up to that point, I'm afraid. There we go. Ooh, had to really back out of it to avoid the barrier on the inside there. It took him very offline, Thomas Abascal. But still, let's look at his time in the first sector then, if he's going to be able to catch Tibor Kiss. I think the gap should be about 5 seconds or so. Annoying because it's just showing him coming out the pits. I mean, he did pit at the end of the previous lap, so hopefully if I refresh the overlay it will give an accurate. It's showing a 4 seconds between Kiss and Abascal. Jaeger, sorry. Yeah, let me refresh it twice just to make extra sure. Oh, it's only showing the top 5 now. That's annoying. There you go. 10 seconds. The gap between. Was that between Abascal and Jaeger, or Abascal and Kiss? That would be the gap to leader. Yes, it would be the gap to leader. There we go. That's all the top 7 in LMP2 and GT3 as well, not just the top 5. But Abascal continuing on. So yeah, about 6 seconds the gap. He's not closed it significantly then, which is surprising.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting for both Jaeger and Kiss, the fact that they've managed to eke an extra lap out on the fuel. And
yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to challenge Abascal for the win, but they might be able to get into the Valencia fight, as Benz Boros has actually gotten on board the 753 and now dropped to 7 seconds behind Valencia.
Because if they can do this for another stint, then in theory they'll have 2 laps in the pocket over the leaders for fuel.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting scenario. Like I said, it's only GT3 where we're seeing a massive strategic convergence there. You can see the Aston was just in frame there. So Pascal slowly but surely is starting to catch him. Yeah, only 9 seconds behind the lead now. Just broken beyond the 10-second barrier. Here we go through the carousel. Well, he didn't get quite into the apron. Had to have another little tuck back in there. But the apron? What? I'm not sure why I'm calling it the apron. The inside bit of the carousel.
Abascal really throwing that McLaren about. And in some cases not wanting to do what he wants it to do. It's protesting quite a bit, but it seems Kiss is feeling the pressure now as he runs wide onto the grass.
Yeah, shall we watch Kiss actually? Yeah, there we go. We just cut to him as he had that little moment there. So Team Imperium, wonderful baby blue and red Aston Martin.
That's a beautiful looking car.
Indeed. And keep an eye. So Arasaka has gone for the purple tyres, which I think is a mixed set, if I remember correctly,
Yes,
between
that's a
the
mix.
mediums and softs.
Yeah, there is quite a mix in tyre strategy. The top 4 in LMP1 or LMPH.
LMP1s, they are definitely P1s. It's just the overlay that's wrong.
Yeah, they're running the softer blue marked compound tyre, where Tobias Blumschein is running the although that's the Orica. So
Yeah, Tobias and all the LMP2s are mainly running the green tyre, apart from Varconi's on the softs. So Varconi is definitely pushing to try and catch up, and he's got the gap down from 33 to 26 seconds. So certainly Varconi having a strong stint. So it's slowly starting to shift towards Mugen in the 2 LMP classes, but certainly Blumschein doing a great job at the moment, it must be said. As we see yellow in the second sector, but that's cleared. And Abascal has actually dropped back a bit. Look, he's 18 seconds down now.
is that because he's just been lapped by the what looks to be, is that an LMP2 and an LMP1 car in the background, or is that 2 of the same class?
Oh, I wasn't sure. Certainly, you wouldn't expect to lose 8 seconds being lapped. There you go. There's the 2. It's 2 irises actually.
Yeah, so
from the different cars. So this is Tobias, who I believe has been caught by Arasaka.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. There's Abascal, who's.
Oh, and Tobias has lost it.
Oh no! Just as I was saying how well he was doing.
Now, was that a coming together between the 2 teammates?
I don't think so. I'm just
say-
rewatching that.
I mean,
That looked to me like he was turning in for the chicane there.
I mean, I hope Blumschein is allowed, because he's so close to the pits. I hope he's allowed to get there. And
Yeah, he's lost the rear wing, and there we go. Nearly hitting the Arasaka. I don't think Arasaka was involved in the incident. Yeah, Tobias. That's devastating. And there goes Varconi through. So Tobias Blumschein loses the lead.
Varconi pits.
Yeah, Varconi then pitting from the new race leader pitting. Let's look on board. No signs of life there. I think that's terminal.
Has there been some sort of disconnect or some sort of wheel problem? Because he's stuck
Could be,
there.
yeah. Because it looked like he was just going sideways off. There was a good spot there, actually, as all the GT3 field pits now as well. The top 3. Abascal having to make an extra stop there. So Kiss and Jaeger are now suddenly in the picture again, as Valencia is now going to take the lead. This is all heating up in LMP2 and GT3, hasn't it? And Tobias sits forlornly by the road, or his car does. I'm not sure what's happened to Tobias himself. But Iris, it's all gone out the window now, hasn't it? And I don't think it was anything to do with his sister car.
Boros is showing his DNF.
Oh, Bent Boros. That's not good. Because he was looking good to inherit a place there. Was he involved in the Tobias incident? There must be a separate incident going on while we were watching this. As now Valencia has got clear. So this has gone the 444's way in GD3, hasn't it?
Definitely. So Valencia in the lead.
The yellow in the first sector. I wonder what on earth that's about. Sis Miata is also pit from 7th in LMP2. And it's looking like Tobias is DNF'd. So that's a big shame for him because he was doing extremely well up to that point. And it just shows it can all go wrong. I don't think it was even his fault, really. It looked like there was a screen freeze or wheel failure or something. And he was powerless to really stop that.
It certainly looked connection-based because he was lagging across the course when it happened.
Yeah, certainly not the only guy having connection problems today, because we saw that with Oliver Perikin as well. And 46, meanwhile, is still going in, of course, 6th position with Erkin at the wheel. But now it's really Varconi is the only one who sort of stayed out of trouble, really. And it's put it now falls to Valente in the 66 crew to sort of regain the lead for Iris. 28 seconds down. Valencia, meanwhile, on what looks like what could be a brilliant strategy here. Jaeger has actually jumped Abascal. So Abascal's got ahead of Kiss. But Jaeger has eluded him, unfortunately, in the Corvette. So I'd be very surprised if the 36 can beat the 444 as Toff pits from the lead. And so that's that 96-second gap he built is going to come down. Here's Kiss. So Kiss, I think, had made a mistake. Could just let Abascal back past him. Maximilian Petravki has actually gotten on board the reading game number 27. Very good driver, Petravki. So reading game, they're out of the LMP2, but they've still got a brilliant chance of getting a great result in GD3, which would be great on the debut of the 27. Taking so long to get that second car together. And the Aston going okay at the moment. But yeah, like you say, Boros, Blumschein, and...
well, that's a bit of a corner cut.
Yeah, there we go. Petravki showing his skill there. As I big him up, he just decides to dip a wheel in the gravel.
More than just a wheel. I think he was rally crossing for a moment then.
Yes, is Bintz now going to be able to jump Zoltan Toth?
It looks like it. Obviously, Bintz on an alternate strategy from Toth.
Yeah, I think Bintz may be doing an extra stop compared to Toth, but certainly at the moment he takes the lead of the race. Back where he started off on pole position, of course. So Bintz has certainly been putting the lap times in. It's like his best lap is the best lap of the race, of course, 6:53.5, about a tenth faster than a tenth slower actually. 0.6 tenth slower than Bintz than the Toff. Sorry. The last laps are pretty similar actually. 7 minutes 0.6 for Bintz, 7 minutes 0.2 for Toff. But it's certainly Toff. As Sellers is now coming as well. So the gap now 6.8 seconds. So Toff is surely going to catch Bintz with his fresher tyres during this lap. Well, I say during this stint, but it's now just during this lap because your stints can be measured in laps rather than time here.
Certainly. And I'm actually out of interest. How many laps? Because we only actually completed 10 laps.
11 laps. We're in lap 11.
Lap 11.
Look up ahead. Actually, Bintz having to negotiate a lot of the traffic as it gets. That looks like the EVA Racing team just getting out of the way there. Chipper Jansen Bintz.
Yeah, it's a strange one because Bintz pitted only after 2 laps. So I do kind of wonder if for the first stint they ran low fuel maybe to try and build up a gap.
Maybe, but it felt to me like because the Muga closed up right at the end there, that there had been a mistake and they had to pit for repairs.
Maybe.
Look at this, Toff having to go all the way around the outside. That's not ideal. Thankfully, the LMP1 has the grip to let him go all the way around the outside of the Corvette there, but certainly that's not going to help him catch back up to Bince.
And the Bince is so far only full stint has done so far in 6 laps, which is a massive difference to all these other shorter circuits that we go to, where we're looking at something like 25 to 30 laps a stint.
Yeah, and the gaps certainly balloon out a lot quicker around the Nordschleife. Although Mia Lever's still stuck behind Rafael Meyer, who's done a good job to keep him at bay, really. So Mia Lever's making a meal of this, and hopefully John Meyer will be able to keep presenting a big challenge here, because it certainly would be great to see the 42 on the podium, of course, currently. But I'd be very surprised if they end the race there. But you never know, they could pull it off. With Listola in the other Frenavond in the LMP1 car is in the pits now too. But where do you think we should be keeping our eyes on at the moment, Ryan? I'm not sure if, as you look at Listola is now dropped behind the Iris number 8, the championship leader, of course. But I think the big battle is Toth versus Bince. This one between Evers and Meyer.
Yeah, I was just about to
and potentially, if Abascal can close in on Jaeger, then that could be quite interesting. But certainly 34 seconds now, the gap between Jaeger. It's fluctuated wildly. It feels like each lap there's a new person in the lead by miles, and then they bin it.
So Pascal Eggert is now in the car for the...
Yeah, of course. Eggert showed a brilliant display of sportsmanship, actually. Alessandro Valente, he was in a big battle for third with Valente in the reverse grid race here, the touring car race. And they had a big collision where they actually made contact, and Pascal actually barged Valente out of the way and then slowed down to let Alessandro Valente back through in a sort of great show of sportsmanship, which he didn't really... You wouldn't have expected him to do that, but it does show his sort of his sense of fair play and his class and his quality, really, as a sportsman. So that was great. That was really great to see. As we look at Evers going up the inside. Here we go. Can he get the under? He can.
Yes.
So nothing Rafael Meyer could do, but he held on as long as he could, really. A couple of laps. And the 42 back down to 4th. And but look at this.
Looks like
not a great run by Mia Evers. So Rafael Meyer.
Both into the pits.
There we go. So there we go. That must be annoying when you get past just before going in the pit lane, as all the leaders in the LMP2 pit. Erkan actually doesn't pit. Oh, no, he does, but he's... No, he doesn't, actually. I was confused there, because it was taking me a while to click on him because he was being overtaken. But now the 46 is back in the lead, if only on its different strategy. But there is Valente. He's gotten out ahead of Varconi. What's happened there? Is Varconi taking on more fuel? It looks like Valente might have... he might be doing another stint on the same set of tyres here. And that might be how he's jumped Varconi for position. But certainly an interesting strategy by Team Iris. Unless Varconi has made some mistake. A bit hard to tell though. He hasn't dropped far behind enough to indicate a mistake. That felt more like a longer stop to me. Either way, the strategy's diverging everywhere now. Off, incidentally, 5 seconds behind Bince in the battle for the overall lead. We'll be closing on him soon. And that could be very, very interesting indeed. Or will Bince instantly die for the pits?
Bince using all the road and a bit more there as he's pushing.
Well, he's got to throw up grass so it delays his arrival behind him. Arasaka retires. It's the trouble for the Team Iris LMP1. The Iris cars are dropping like flies, aren't they? The 86, the 77, and now the number 8.
Well, Blumschein is actually showing as still in the race, 2 laps down. He's currently...
Well, there he is in the garage, along with Arasaka nearby.
Okay, for some reason...
That is disastrous for the championship leaders. I'm not sure what happened there. Could have been a disconnection. Maybe we'll see them back in the race, but I fear there's been some kind of crash. Arasaka may have been pushing a bit too hard to catch up, and that's ruined Iris's chances, because that could potentially hand the championship back to Mugen and Valle now, in terms of the the points battle. But we'll have to see, because this is definitely not a good day for Iris so far. With only really Valente still in the mix.
Yeah, and
I think he's the only one still in the race as well.
And then there were 4 in the LMP1 field.
Although Top has closed significantly, so has Bince come in the pits? No, he's just continued to lose time. There you go. You see him right behind him on the straight.
Toth on the fresher tyres.
Indeed, that's really the big advantage, though. But his fuel mileage, with so few laps in the race, really, his fuel mileage going to be what decides it as we go into lap 12 with 2.5 hours remaining. Erkan, meanwhile, only leading by 3 seconds. So Valente is closing on him as well.
I would expect to see Bince will be coming in for his next stop for another 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, so you may have to hold on here. This could get very interesting indeed. Here we go. This is the driver's eye view. His eye line, at least. With Zoltan Toff as he goes through the Warsteiner curve. To the end of the GP loop. He's got a great run here. Bince looks like he's really struggling at the moment. His last lap was that 8 minutes, his last lap? Yeah, 8 minutes 18. Oh no, it's Toff, sorry. 7 minutes 04 for Bince. But it's Toff like yeah, but Toff in the second and third sectors. He was 3 seconds faster in sector 2 and now right on him actually. And a whole second faster in the final sector. As here we go. Bince will have to drive the widest valet car you've ever seen to keep Zoltantov behind him. A tight, twisty Nordschleife. Of course, with it being so difficult to pass apart from the straights, do you think the gamble's going to pay off here for Jansen, Bince and Valet?
Yeah, it would be interesting. I mean, it's the age-old Murray Walker quote, catching is one thing and passing is another, and that is something that definitely shows itself here at the Nürburgring.
Voice is just having his pit stop down in 7th in GT3, by the way, so good to see the 206 still competing, the Ferrari. Look at this. He's closing him down corner by corner. And Bince really under pressure here. Can't afford to make any mistakes. Under the bridge. The LMP1s, they feel like they're on a knife edge every little ridge that they crest. And here we go. He's got him right in his sights now.
Oh, made a slight mistake. Clipped a little bit more, too much curb there, did Toff. But so he's lost about a car length. But I'm sure with his pace at the moment, he'll easily get that back. Quite interesting to see how the cars are reacting over the many bumps over here. It almost looks like the cars are porpoising, like the F1 cars.
Indeed, yeah. I haven't seen any of the qualifying yet, so I was going to wait till this race finished.
Yeah, neither have I.
But I'm glad to have you joining us, Ryan. I think Adam, because he had to start really early, so I don't blame him if he needed a break. Because it was like, qualifying was taking place at like 7:30 AM for him. So it's probably only 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning now. But yeah, I guess the big thing is Bradley Stillers is so far behind that these two, they're really only in a battle with each other. So if Toff is playing the long game here, he just has to wait for Bince to pit. So it doesn't need to take too many unnecessary risks here.
Yeah, I mean, they've got bags full of tires.
Oh, here we go. There's a little opportunity, but wasn't quite able to fit his car through there. And yeah, Bince really saw that one coming a mile off.
I'm wondering if this is Bince trying to be in the driver's seat for Toff and trying to goad him into making mistakes, burn up his tyres.
Or potentially spin off track trying to go around the outside of him. Here we go. A few wheels on the grass. And he's definitely going to try and hold his way through around the outside here. But it becomes the inside. And there's the 48 just ahead of him. Bince hits him! Oh my goodness. Is the Valet okay there? And round goes the 48 of with Thomas Abascal, who was catching Tibble Kiss. Tibble Kiss is gone back through now, so it's all gone horribly wrong for Abascal. He's not had the rub of the green with the LMPs coming through.
And that's not going to help, reversing into the barrier.
Yeah, there we go. Let's have a look on board
He's
with Abascal.
crabbing.
Yeah, it's crabbing, so the 48 was looking in a great position earlier on. It's all swung their way to the 444 car now, as the 48, really making a meal of things. That car does not look fun to drive at all, but he'll have to gingerly make his way through the second and third sector, as Toff continues to challenge Bince, who doesn't look like he took too much damage from that spin there, but it could incur the wrath of the stewards post-race.
Indeed. Didn't he also incur the wrath of the stewards back in Silverstone for something
similar? He did,
similar?
yes, with the LMP2s. Remember, he was trying to lap them and ended up causing being involved in an incident that he was deemed at fault. Valet got very upset about that. I imagine we could see more tears from Valet if we're not careful here. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt. There's been no investigation on our screen so far. But here comes the Paul Street Boys car. There's also a couple of laps down, so this is going to allow Toff to close right back in, and gets right out of the way. Does Ben Sporos, who's not had a great race. He's still making his way through past the retired LMP2s.
And Bince taking the Jack Brabham approach of kicking up the dirt still.
Yeah, exactly. Jack Brabham, Daniel Ricciardo approach, yes. We're seeing some consternation and serious decision chat. Here we go. From about half an hour ago, drive-through penalty for Boyd Transport 206, driver typing in a live race session. So yeah, that was probably why we saw him coming in. So Ton gets on board the Boyd Transport. Roy Ton gets on board the Boyd Transport 206, as is that Ballet pitting and letting Sismiata through.
Looks like it.
But here we go. Toff gonna have another go now, and he's got a great slipstream. Up the inside he goes. Not much that Jansen Bince can do, but he tucks into the slipstream.
He's gone a bit early, which means Bince is going to receive the favour back and going to get a good slipstream.
Is he going to slingshot back through here? Here we go. Look how bumpy it is, even at the end of this straight. As he tucks in, go under the bridge they go, and he's on the outside though. He can't make this the inside, surely, as he has to concede position, and Toff retakes the lead of the race.
Yeah. Let's see how he manages through the chicane. It looks like Toff's pulled out a sizable advantage.
Yeah, so Jansen Bince is trying to make the fuel last now, isn't he? And to keep in touch. He can't. He's not really going to be able to. He might be able to get his revenge when he gets fresher tyres later on, but he'll have to. Again, it's about regaining track position and trying to hold off Toff, isn't he?
And Toff actually set the fastest final sector.
Indeed, yeah. What was that? That was 42.7. So very quick there, and not probably helped by getting the draft from the back of the Valet. Was he yellow in sector 2 for somebody?
Indeed. So for Bince, he's now got to hold on to the tyres and the fuel for about another 2 laps.
Here we go. This looks familiar. So Peter Schumann has now gotten on board the 139, and is now behind Sismiata in the battle for 4th in LMP2. As Bince continues to circulate just over a second behind Toff, but I think Toff is starting to pull away now, seriously, to the tune of 2 seconds now, yep. Is that Vettler, who's only about 4 seconds behind Peter Schumann here. So this could be a really interesting battle between Paul Street Boys, Frinavond Racing, and the Zurich Virtual Racing number 42. Look, the sister Frinavond car. Could that hold up the Paul Street Boys LMP2? Peter Schumann lets the rear hang out. He's certainly lost none of his enthusiasm for LMP2 driving, has Peter Schumann, and as he over-exuberantly lets the rear flick out as he attempts to chase down Richard Sismiata, who laps the sister Frinavond. Now, how will Peter Schumann get around him? Oh, the Frinavond will go off track, and that's Mario Valencia.
There's a bit of T-boning of it happen.
He has. He's hit him and he's flipped him upside down, and that's a catastrophe for the class leader in GT3, Mario Valencia, but even more so for Richard Sismiata, who was minding his own business going through, and Valencia just went off track and flipped him over.
I mean, yeah, that's. I can't believe what I just seen.
Crabbing. That's horrible for Mario Valencia as well, because Jaeger is now going to inherit the lead, surely. And,
he's gone. He's off.
He can't steer. I'd be amazed if he can get that thing back to the pits.
We've already had a Baskel DNF.
Indeed.
Due to no fault of his own. But Valencia, I don't know what happened there because it's such an odd place to lose the car.
Yeah, and that was the that looked like the Sismiardo still going.
Oh, and
he's been hit by Vince. Oh, this is catastrophic.
Oh, is there going to be? Surely we might see a code 80 here because there's 3 cars in the same area.
Yeah, Vince stationary. Yeah, Valencia's still going, but hitting the walls. And Jaeger surely going to catch him within a matter of moments. So this will be quite the moment for the 36. But like you say, I'm very surprised we haven't seen Sismiardo's retired at least, because he was losing the rear wing and crabbing horribly. Mario Valencia is going to try and keep going here. And but Vince, his aspirations of winning the race, taking a big hit because he's retired now as well. So it's only Valencia that's kept going. That was absolutely heart and mouth stuff, and that's really handed it to Toff now, hasn't it?
Hang on, Valencia's got a wheel missing.
Oh my goodness, yeah, the rear wheel.
The front wheel.
Front wheel, sorry. And no wonder he wasn't getting into the corners. And there is that looks like Bradley Sellers coming through. He's going to take second position now overall.
I won't be surprised if race control step in and say Valencia needs to retire.
But we'll have to see. 8 seconds now the gap to Jaeger. He's still got most of this sector to go, doesn't he?
He's got pretty much half a lap almost.
Indeed. So so almost certainly Jaeger is going to get through then. Yeah, he's only 4 seconds behind. Here we go then. So he needs to be careful as he approaches the back of the wounded car around Valencia that's missing a key component, being the front wheel. It helps with the whole turning in situation. As Bradley Sellers now retakes second position. It's Thomas Jaeger is coming through to take the class lead then. Alright, Valencia. Ever so gingerly lets him through there. But he will take no pleasure in that whatsoever. And it really was, I have to say, Mario Valencia kind of created this situation by going off, didn't he? I didn't do it deliberately, I think, but the consequences were absolutely catastrophic for himself, for Sismiardo, and for Jensen Bintz, of course. Big shame for Valet, I think, as well.
When was the last time we actually had a Corvette genuinely lead the race?
Oof. I think EFA Racing got near the front in a few races, but it doesn't. Overall, I don't think it's ever happened before. And Jaeger having a brilliant run, though, it must be said, for HHR. I don't think they've certainly never led before. I'm not sure they've done that many races before, to be honest. The stewards did in chat suspiciously quiet given what's happened. I expect the stewards to be all over this, but Valencia is still going. Tibor Kiss has got through now as well, and there is Valencia sideways entering the carousel, and the wheel he needs to get in the carousel is not there. As Erkan now pits from the lead in LMP2, which lets Valencia into the lead. The war of attrition has really well and truly begun, hasn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, but we've only got 3 LMP1s still running.
Yeah.
I
think Toff and the 22 crew were really my favourites for the LMP1 victory going into this, and it's so proved. Mugen always excel at the Nordschleife. Although the 21 having to pit with Erkan at the moment, so there's a little bit of a race going on there. Who's going to get out first? Erkan has got more of the pit lane to traverse, but Varconi has gone in slightly later, I think. So we will have to see as Valencius continues to struggle, and he's got a huge gap actually to Arshad Samir in the other Corvette. So he'll have to pit for repairs. Putting the new tyre on will not be work of the moment. So
yeah,
but certainly Valencia's got a great chance of still finishing on the podium in the 444, despite that catastrophic error that may well have cost him the win. As we go into lap 13 now, and Zoltan Toff leads Bradley Sellers by 123 seconds. As there we go, looks like Erkan has got away, and Varconi's still stationary. Schumann up to second now with Vettler, Florian Vettler now up to third. There goes Erkan, the 46 into the points. So, into the points, not out of victory yet, are they? Oh, well, I know. Until the race ends, you're theoretically not out of victory. But,
to be honest, the way the attrition's been going in the last 10 minutes, it's still anyone's races. We could see a GT3 be the overall winner at this rate.
Indeed, yes, but that'll be quite quite the turn-up for Thomas Jäger. It's already been quite a great day for him so far, as we look at Vettler closing on the back of Schoonman for second place overall. Lofty heights for the 42.
Yeah.
Martin Maguli now gets on board the 21, so driver change. That's why the Mugen took so long. So a key driver change just before the half distance mark.
And Vettler doing well to stay with the Mugen. Sorry, it's the Fring of On ahead. Given that he was passed quite easily, or the car was passed quite easily early on, and he's not out of it. Second place looks quite good for Vettler.
Indeed. So the lucky number 42 continues. Florian Vettler certainly. It was a little mistake for the Zurich racing team that let Peter Schumann through, but Florian Vettler has got it back together and has kept the pressure on. Peter Schumann, like we said, over exuberant, not always the best under pressure. So certainly the 42 will try and take advantage of that. But Peter Schumann has been in the game long enough to keep his nerve. Has got good results at the Hockenheim Ring before in LMP2, but not in at the Nordschleife, which I don't think we've ever properly. We did a test race here, but we've never actually done a full. Which we ended halfway through because there were only 2 drivers left in it, one in GT3 and one in LMP2.
Yeah, was that a 24-hour that race?
I forget how long it was supposed to be, but we only got through about halfway.
It was like the Halloween special.
No, that was Le Mans.
Oh, that was Le Mans.
But I think Mugen won that one too. But anyway, Vettler still just about in touch, but not quite pushing as much as he was in the earlier stages. Fabien Ballet in the Valle 33 is somehow still in the race, and is despite he's only about 2 seconds behind Erkan, who we saw leading not long ago. So I think all of the top 6 are well and truly in with a shout of the win here in LMP2, and that's really great to see how competitive it is. As Valencia has pit now once again. He's made it to the pits. Sorry. So that is great news for him. There we go. The wheel will be put back on, but it will take a while. And where is Arshad Samir? 120 seconds behind. So Samir, for EFA Racing in the 58, have not had the rub of the green, it must be said, this season. Could be in with a shot at the podium here, if they can clear the 444.
Indeed, and for Valencia's car, it's going to be interesting how quick his mechanics are going to be, because there's a full-on suspension missing, so they're going to have to fit, I assume it's a double wishbone suspension on these GT3 cars, along with the hub, the brake disc, and the front wheel.
Oh, and Vettler has just got back past Schumann, actually. Down the straight, I think.
Interesting. Let's see if we can get back to that. Yes! And just behind, that's...
Oh, there we go. That is the Zoltan Top about to lap both of them. So that's actually before the straight. So good move. I think Schumann must have made a mistake, like I thought he would. But there we go. They need to be careful that Toff doesn't trip over them. Toff, still not able to get past Peter Schumann. And it's a good thing he hasn't got Jansen Bintz right behind him, because this would really be ruining his race right now if it was.
Indeed.
And he's cleared him now. Now, next target, Florian Vettler, which he does clear around the outside. A little bit risky, but did just about pull that off. And now Vettler needs to hold off Schumann once more.
Yeah, and it seems like Schumann's had a bit of a slingshot around here, because you can see him actually, I don't know, I think he was on the brakes slightly going through that corner.
Yeah, it did look just a little bit tentative. But Schumann now starting to fall back slightly, as still the closest battle on track. Although Figs Neuberger... Oh no. Figs Neuberger, I think, retired when he was within 7/10 of Tobias Blumschein. But I guess it didn't really matter finishing 22nd or 23rd in DNS, because you don't get any points for it. But but there we go. So Florian Vettler, certainly one of the stars of this race. But it's Valente who leads by quite a margin, 88 seconds now. Valente building up his lead and certainly working the strategy to his advantage. And what a story it would be if Iris could take the win in LMP2 after all the disaster that's happened to them elsewhere in this race. And certainly Valente showed his quality in the touring car round in the Hunter Birch simulation car. He's second in that championship to Sven Gielhed, another Irish driver. So Irish really have got excellent drivers in the lineup. They haven't always got the rub of the green. After their first win in LMP1, LMP1 have not had a great race to date, with Arasaka retiring due to reasons we didn't get to see. But certainly LMP2, they are well in with a chance of victory. As Valencia continues to be serviced, Samir has got through. So EFA Racing Team have got an excellent shot at third place now. Roy Ton has also got through in the 206, so it's all the trouble that had. So that just shows how much time Valencia has lost with the wheel being replaced. And is that the Boyd Transport LMP2 being serviced in the background as well?
It's got no rear wing on it either.
It's Sandak. It's Marcia Sandak. No code. I'm amazed there have been no code 80s, because I would have thought with the Valencia Sismiada and Jansen Bintz incident that we would have had at least one code 80 there. But I guess they didn't want to equalise the field too much and give an advantage to anyone who was near the pit lane.
Yeah, and it's amazing what a comeback Valenti's had, considering he was all at sea at the start of the race, was going backwards on the first lap, and has now found himself, due to just staying out of trouble and staying consistent, at the front of the LMP2 field.
Yeah, he's exactly where Tobias Bumschein was not too long ago as well, so you need to make sure he doesn't have any kind of mysterious screen freeze that takes him out. But I imagine Tobias is probably too upset to talk with us in commentary about what happened, but we shall see. Now we get into the half, but now might be a good point to talk to Tom Dillon if he is still around. Let me have a look in Mumble, see if I can pick him up anywhere. I don't want to drag someone out while they're driving, that's the problem. That would be very rude and unbecoming. But we look at Valente continuing to lead and extend his gap to Vetpla. And certainly Vetpla and Schumann battling each other is ideal for the 66 crew. Best finish for the 66 crew, I believe, is third place. Did they get a third place somewhere? I can't remember. LMP2. I think they got a fourth in Korea once in last season. And I think they got a fourth or fifth in Spain. And I think that's the best that the 66 crew have done so far this season. Yeah. With Silverstone, they were in the fight for the podium until the very end when there was a fuel issue, basically, and they didn't have enough fuel to make the end. But Peter Schumann continues. Is that Erkan?
Yeah,
caught?
It is. I was just about to say, look, with this battle for second has now gone down second, third, and fourth.
Yes, and Erkan needs to get a move on because Martin Maguli is only about 45 seconds behind, which might seem a lot, but with the pace that Mugen have been showing in that class, you wouldn't discount them. Let's see if we can... no response yet from Tom Dillon, I don't think. So, I don't think he's decided if he wants to do an interview yet or not. But certainly, with so few people in the Bumble chat, I didn't write, oh, there we go! And off for Schumann! And Erkan got a great view of that, actually. And Schumann's car does not look like it's handling as well as it was before.
I mean, luckily Schumann just about kept it out of the barriers there. Very lucky. And yeah, that's one of his 9 lives ticked off.
Yeah, let's see if he can maintain those cat-like reflexes as he fights to hold on to the podium. But Erkan, I think he senses blood here. There's blood in the water for the dark red into the points car. They want to get off the points and into the podium. Well, not off the points, because they'll still get more points, actually. Toff, meanwhile, leading, has extended the gap to nearly 150 seconds over Bradley Sellers, but Rookie Monsters could still get their first podium as Fabien Ballet goes into the pits, I believe, for a driver change, because Ballet has been in since the beginning, so we might see some of the drivers that have been in nearly 2 hours now starting to fatigue a bit.
Yeah, certainly. I, for one, I don't think I'd quite manage 2 hours of this track. It's so physical, even for a sim race, you know.
And it looks like Nick Homewood is getting on board the 444. This is a long repair job, so I think Mario Valencia damaged it even more on the way back to the pits. But that'll be deeply frustrating for the 444 squad, because they were looking, as we see another mistake from Peter Schumann, as we talk about misfortune for Fringer Bond. But they were looking like they were really going to get themselves into the title fight here, and now, as they slip down the points, it's difficult to really see them getting better than 4th or 5th then at the end of this race now, as they're going a lap down. It's really all going the way of Jaeger and Kiss at the moment. Kiss kept him honest in the Aston, actually, Team Imperium. Only 19 seconds now behind Jaeger, so still within reach.
And don't forget, both those drivers on different strategies, in theory. They managed to save
and miles ahead of Samir and Roy Ton. Yeah, 286 seconds we got there. So really there's a battle for 3rd, but I don't really think Nick Homewood can realistically do better than that. Is he still in the pits, or is that an overlay issue?
No, Nick Homewood is still in the pits. It's still showing on the live timing.
Yeah, he must be just exiting now as we watch. Let's stick on board with Arda Erkan. Oh, there's a bit of smoke from from Vepler actually there as he gets on the grass.
Yeah, just he's done that a couple of times as we've been following.
In Erkan, this is a lovely section of the track. I love this because it's so high speed and you have to be really careful. There is look, Peter Schumann really brakes very late there and emerges right in front of Arda Erkan. Arda Erkan looks to the outside as they approach the carousel. Is Arda going to dive it up the inside? No way through here. So they go all the way through the banked carousel and up the other side. And the roller coaster ride continues as they go up and down the sweeping forest of the Eiffel Mountains. Ardennes Spa, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Eiffel Mountains of Germany, of course. The circuit was built around an old medieval village and castle, actually, interestingly enough. As Arda Erkan getting really close now. Looks like Vepler's pulling away.
Yeah, I can't figure out if this is Schumann struggling with under pressure, or that car just really doesn't want to be turning into corners, because he's missing pretty much every apex.
He could be nursing damage, because we saw he let Vepler through earlier for a mistake, I think. But we could ride on board if you want a better view, but of course we can't quite see the steering wheel. But look at that! Oh, almost in the gravel there, and that's really going to help Arda Erkan once more.
Yeah.
But Arda Erkan's really waiting for the straight then, isn't it, to get the into the points car through.
That's the thing. You don't want to run too close, just in case the person ahead of you makes a mistake and you find yourself collected. But then you want to stay close enough that you can gain that advantage down the straight that they're just approaching now.
Yeah, here we go, and it looks like Erkan got a decent run, but there's a few more corners to negotiate before they get onto the main part. Yeah, I just got to try and recite the corner names now. Nothing in the steward decision chat that I've seen. Because Nick Homewood's gotten on... Oh, yeah, very close now.
Yeah, and Vepler ahead, just having a slight lock-up. And now we come onto the straight. Just getting mixed up. It's a long track. And
yeah, there we go. Yeah. So not much Schumann can do now. Surely if Erkan can pull out in time... And there we go, here's side by side as they go through down towards Tiergarten, through New Einfahrt Nordschleife, Dottingerho as it's called, and still alongside actually Schumann, not quite clear, and very close. That tail light nearly got taken out by the rear wheel, and he's flashing him. He's not happy about that, is he?
No, definitely not. That was very, very close, especially at such...
And to the surprise of absolutely no one, a penalty has been given now to Mario Valencia, for, I presume, for taking out Richard Sismiada.
Yeah, and I think that was a bit, a bit forceful from Erkan, considering the speeds that they were going at, and he completely cut the nose of Schumann there. I think Schumann's well within his right to be a bit upset about that.
Yeah, and that's put Schumann out now. Maguli, who's been slowly... He's not actually been catching them. He's about 55 seconds behind now. So Maguli yet to really bed in. That looks like Valencia's gotten on back on board. It wasn't Homewood then in the end. It's Valencia's gotten back on board the 444.
That's still got a front wheel missing.
Has it?
Yeah.
No, no wonder he's been given a penalty. Let's have a look at that car again to confirm your suspicion, because I believe it may be absolutely right there.
Just look on the other side.
Yeah, sorry, it's just the other hairpin, unfortunately. And it's going all like this. Whatever's wrong with that car, it's not been fixed properly. So this reminds me of Silverstone, where Nick Homewood was spinning in that car constantly, and that was because the buckled steering hasn't been sorted. Yeah, the wheel.
There's no front wheel.
There's no front left wheel. Yeah, there we go. It's just a hole where it should be. Sure, is he going to have to do the whole lap like this again? And if he is, there's no excuse not to throw code 80 then.
I mean, what has happened there? Is it because it's not actually possible to...
Well, he waited long enough in the pit. Is it because they changed drivers, maybe? Because they put Nick Homewood in the car before maybe the repair works had been done, so they had to put Valencia in, and then Valencia got a penalty, and he's not even going to attempt to try and do it, and I don't blame him, to be honest. I hope he doesn't gain a lap back because of doing this.
I wouldn't have thought so.
No, it will just count as him not doing a lap, so he's basically
he's got a penalty, so he's going to have to serve the penalty and go back round.
This is absolutely disastrous for the 444. They've had some difficult races in the EERC, but I think this tops them, doesn't it?
Certainly.
And especially given that Mario Valencia went off while in the lead as well. This makes that extra painful, as Bradley Sellers now pits. Toff just pit a moment ago and come out ahead.
Yeah, and they've retired.
That could be terminal then, so that could be the last we see of the 444. So, well and truly, the championship in GD3 wide open now. As Arda Erkan continues actually to challenge Florian Vettel. He's caught up into him rapidly. So the 46, really the big battle for the 46 is Valente, isn't it? That's who he's trying to catch. Realistically, his race is with him, given the pace he's got, and there's still 2 hours left in the race. So if you can clear Vettel fairly quickly, and the back straight in Sector 3, then you got to think Arda Erkan fancies his chances of victory.
Yeah.
But they've got the lapped cars ahead of them. That looks like Ton. Is that Ton and Samir battling for third? It is.
Yes.
So there we go, the two little battles, and Roy Ton will have to get out of the way here. This is going to get very messy if they're not careful. Over he goes to the side. They're going to have to slot through the middle here, and actually, it's the EFA racing car, Samir, who gets out of the way, and Ton who gets up to third. And oh, look at that! That was the into the points car of Erkan just going off the track there.
And this has allowed Schumann to get onto the back of them again.
Oh, this is very, very messy indeed. And Erkan senses opportunity, goes side by side, and has to back out of it. And almost has to let Schumann through. Roy Ton refuses to let the LMP2s through.
Yeah, what is he doing? I think he's trying to pull... What's happening is he was trying to pull to one side, but at the same time, the Corvette also was pulling to another side. So
what's happened to Samir? Samir dropped back miles behind. Has he got some kind of steering issue?
I think where he backed off so much to let the three cars through, he's lost so much time.
Yeah, there we go. So that's a big development there for EFA Racing, losing out to incredibly the 206 that started right near the back of the grid that had numerous issues. The dark black, it will be the Boyd transport car, of course. But now the 206 looking, it's like a great chance of the podium as long as they can keep EFA Racing behind. Petrafsky is now coming to the pits in the 27. So Valencia is now 2 laps down. I think he's got going again. Well, shall we see if he's got the wheel back on this time?
Yeah.
Hopefully they've reset it in race control at least.
So potentially, I think we will see Schumann and...
There we go. Is he coming into pit again? Is this to serve the penalty?
Yeah, look, they've got the wheels on. They got the wheel on.
It looks a bit less like a Reliant Robin now. The 444.
Although I think a Reliant Robin probably handled a bit better than that.
Well, it was designed to have 3 wheels, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Schumann has dropped well and truly off the back now of this fight. So Schumann's starting to struggle a bit. Regressing back to his normal pace. And
I think both Schumann
and Martin Magouli's only 23 seconds now behind Schumann. So he's gone from like 50 seconds down to really closing in So Erkan really needs to clear Vepler urgently then, within the next lap or two, if he wants to keep Merguli at bay.
Well, Erkan on a set of newer softs at the moment to what Vepler is running the hards, although I believe, based on the lap charts, I think him and Schumann will be in at the end of this lap.
So this could get very, very interesting then. And it was interesting that brief before the race, like everyone's going to pit on the same lap, so in all the classes, so there's no real strategy to worry about. Just got to make sure you give each other space in the pit boxes, and that was good advice because we did see the 46 lose out. Oliver Parakin was actually spun around very briefly by somebody in the pit lane, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
As Valente now pits from the lead. So is this going to let Vepler through, or is Vepler going to have to come in as well?
I think Vepler's going to have to come in because, based on his previous stop, he stopped at lap 5. He's currently of his stint. He's now on lap 4.
I mean, Valente might even come out ahead of these guys, actually, given the gap that he's got.
He's got a very, very large gap, actually. Yeah. Are they coming onto the straight now? Yeah, they're just coming on to the.
And
long
actually,
straight.
really good run by Vepler, Florian Vepler. So Arda Erkan not quite able to breeze past like he did Peter Schumann, but he will certainly be pushing it. As in the background, very faintly, you might be able to see. He's still like 23 seconds behind, as I said. But Erkan once again now getting in the slipstream. It's going to be too far back to really make a move on the 42. This is the battle, I remind you, for it's going to be a battle for 4th overall now, not just the class lead, due to the LMP1s dropping out. So there's a little bit of extra pride then for this LMP2 battle. There could even be an overall put, and there Vepler goes into the pits then. So Erkan is going to take the lead in LMP2.
And Schumann stays out. So Schumann's going to go for an extra lap on these.
And
times.
there we go. There is that Chris Davis now on board the number 66. So there we go. Valente's teammate Chris Davis takes over and comes out just behind Schumann in 3rd position. So you have to get to grips quickly and clear him. It's now really. Does it feel now like a straight fight between the 66 and the 46, or has the 66 got the advantage in terms of fuel life and tyre mileage?
I think 66.
A little lock up though.
Locks up.
Chris Davis. So this could really decide their race, basically, if Chris Davis can get to grips or not. And certainly he's got a hard job because he's immediately in a battle the moment he gets out of the pits.
It all depends how quick he manages to clear Schumann. I mean, he's not going to. He did have a very, very.
Schumann might even be in at the end of this lap as well.
I believe he should.
We're on lap 17, by the way.
I believe he should be in at the end of this lap. But I mean, Davis did have a huge. Or the car, in fact, had a very large gap, and so I feel it would have to be something significant to cause him to lose enough time to lose the position.
Well, we've seen Iris have so much bad luck already in this race. So, what's he doing?
So has Schumann missed the pit entry and gone to do another lap, even though he's not had enough fuel?
Well, that feels a little bit like you're not really supposed to do that unless you're in serious damage. Then, so I'm not sure what Schumann is playing at, but he's showing is behind Vepler now.
Yeah, so Schumann's coming to pit lane, so he's missed the pit entry. As I was saying, based on his previous stint, he should be coming in this lap, and he's carried on and got carried away with things.
Yeah, so now really. It's developed into what I think is going to be the three-way fight for the LMP2 lead, with Martin Maguli about 18 seconds now behind Chris Davis, who is in turn about 9 seconds behind Arda Erkan. It's into the points versus Iris versus Mugen then. I think with the pace those three cars have got, they're going to be fighting each other really. Look at their best laps then. 7 minutes 20 for the Iris 66, 7 minutes 19 for Arda Erkan in the into points number 46, and 7 minutes 19, almost exactly the same lap by the 21 actually. So very evenly matched as we get to the halfway mark in the race. 2 hours remaining as Samir pits in the EFA number 58, which is going to let Roy Ton pull away. Kiss is now 21 seconds behind Jaeger, so the Aston and the Corvette battling away from... We're going to get a very, very strange GD3 finish, I feel. Certainly unusual, but it could be a very, very big day for the 36 here.
Yeah, half the race to go, and we've only got only 17 cars left running.
I did feel like we get to half distance, there'd be 15 cars. They're doing slightly better than I thought they would, but still, some of the accidents we've seen today. I am amazed that Valencia was able to escape that one, even though basically the 444 is basically in no man's land now and ahead of only Toff in the Paul Street Boys, who amazingly is also still going. As look at this, Chris Davis being a bit held up by the that's the Aston, the 27, and that looks like Bradley. No, it's Toff trying to lap him. The leader in LMP1 laps second place in LMH or LMP1, sorry, LMP2, sorry.
I can't even... So much has happened in it. What actually happened to Toff in the Paul Street Boys car?
I'm pretty sure Toff had an off. I'm amazed. I'm surprised to see Toff still in the race, actually, because I was convinced he might have retired, but yeah, Joseph Toff, 77 seconds behind Sismiardo, who retired some time ago because he was flipped over by Mario Valencia. Nick Kernan's in the pits, Eggert as well. And a little shout out to Pascal, even though he's third of the three-car LMP1 field, I think finishing third would be a big deal. First LMP1 podium for Freenavon, so they just have to keep going, really. 300 seconds down, so I don't think Eggert's really got anything to challenge Bradley Sullers, but it'd be a debut podium for both Rookie Monsters number 73 and Freenavon 137 in LMP1.
And that's one of the things about racing around this track is it's not all about being the fastest. It's all about staying out of
survival.
and so it means some of the teams that don't necessarily see themselves at the sharp end that often raise to the top because they've stayed out of trouble. They've kept it all on the track, and they've not they're not trying to find every tenth and every inch possible. They're just concentrating on staying on the road, and it rewards you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's often just a case of if you can just stay in it. Even the 444 car could still get something out of this race that could help its championship significantly with all its rivals absent. But you can't have feeling they've kind of scored a bit of an own goal here, so far at least. Anyway, Davis is starting to fall back behind Can a little bit. The gap's now 12 seconds. At least he hasn't got Peter Schumann to worry about. There's only have a close battle to look at. I'm thinking I might go for a coffee break now, actually, because it's a halfway point in the race. I sort of said to myself that's what I'd do. So I think we'll just leave the camera on Chris Davis for the time being because I don't have access to Auto Director.
Yeah, I was at this point I was supposed to be signing off as well.
Okay, fair enough. I'm glad you stayed with us as long as you have, Ryan. But but anyway, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna have a brief 10-minute break or so, and then come back. I'll join you for the last hour and 45 minutes. But it is Zoltan Toff leading LMP1, Arda Erkan currently leading LMP2, but only by 12 seconds. So it's a battle between the 46, the 66, and the 21 in LMP2. And then GD3, it is Tamas Jaeger in the 36 for HHR leading the Team Imperium number 16, driven by Kiss by 22 seconds. So still could go either way there, but certainly the 36 looking in a strong position at the moment. And that's the positions at the Nordschleife, but the Green Hell is sure to take a few more victims before we're done. So I'll sign off for the time being. I'll be back very shortly. Hello and welcome back to the 4 hours of Nordschleife. I'm Edward Hunter, and we have 1 hour 41 minutes to go. And it is still Zoltan Toff leading the number 22, but with just over half the race gone, everyone who's been in since the beginning will have to think about changing driver pretty soon, no matter how comfortable they feel. Chris Davis, meanwhile, has gotten back into the lead now that Arda Erkan and Martin Maguli have stopped. Maguli's actually come out behind Florian Veppler. Got quite a way to go to catch Veppler, actually. So it's all pretty evenly spaced out. Ballet is actually closing on Schoenman at a rate of knots, as here's Joe Gostistis in 5th. Got a lap on Nick Homewood, which is good for him. There is Nick Homewood, 387 seconds down. It's really a bit of a hard slog now for the 444 car. Ricardo Reba's really dropped back behind Roy Ton as well. There's Frederick Suto, who's also gotten on board the Callaway Corvette. Here's Christian Toff, struggling to close in on him. Keep our attention on Fabian Ballet and his little battle with Peter Schumann. "15 seconds faster actually on that last lap." So, Fabian Ballet. Really, remember, they are joint championship leaders with Mugen, who are in 4th at the moment. Oh, Peter Schumann goes really wide off track, and that could be enough to get. Oh, they make contact! And Ballet has to back out there. But, a very careless mistake there from Peter Schumann as Bradley Sellers dies for the pits, as does Joseph Toff. There's a yellow in the first sector, but wasn't sure what that was about. But yeah, not ideal for Ballet. He's not had the cleanest run in this race, but could do so much more if he could clear Peter Schumann. Here we go onto the back straight, and surely Peter Schumann will be easy meat for the Valet. Indeed he is. Here he goes. Up into 5th place then, so that's pretty good considering what an awful race it's been for Valet. It's good to see something go right for them, as Fabian Ballet restores a little bit of honour, and Peter Schumann tucks into the slipstream, looking like he wants a little bit of revenge, but Schumann hasn't really been able to hold a candle to the front runners in this race, it must be said. He's been slowly pushed back. 2 Fringer Von LMP2's 8th and 7th. Oh, as into the pits goes Fabian Ballet, so that renders it pretty much academic. As Christos Segunas gets on board the 73 Rookie Monsters car. Here he is. Whoa, bit of a slow exit. Not sure what that's about. There we go. And the Pool Street Boys car and the Wayne Transport car also exiting through the first chicane. Oh, and Nick Conan in the 140 into the wall. Nick Conan's car looks like it's crabbing a little bit. Yeah, that doesn't look too well balanced anymore. So Nick Conan down in 10th overall will have to probably make another pit stop. Still ahead of Gazowski, who's not had a great phase of the race in the 40. Pascal Leggett well on his way to what will be his first podium. And only 42 seconds down on Christos Segunas. Pascal's actually done a quietly impressive job, all things considered. Those around him lost their heads, but Pascal kept his, at least so far anyway, as Maguli, pushing like crazy to try and catch Florian Vetpler. 30 seconds up the road. This LMP2 battle really feels like it's a four-way horse now. Four-horse battle, sorry. Between Maguli, who's drifting all over the place. Florian Vetpler, Arda Erkan, and Chris Davis. There's Homeward. Being a little bit forlorn, it must be said. But certainly, even if they finish down in 6th, they'll still get important points here. Certainly, the Triple 4 Machine race winners, they're certainly, after this is over, they'll certainly want to move on as soon as possible to the next race, which of course will be Interlagos. We'll of course have a brief look at the what the title implications of this result will be. Of course, Team Iris were leading LMP1 by 7 points over Coach Eric Academy. Neither of them scoring points, so Mugen Sim Racing 22, if they win, will take 25 points, of course, which will bring them to 55. Put the 15 ahead of Team Iris number 8. It's top pits now. 73 Rookie Monsters team were just behind on 27 points, so second place would bring them to 46 points, of course. Put them in second. And then 137 of Pascal Eggert. Has 20 points to his name at the moment. With 15 for third, he would get 35 points, which would be enough to put him into third overall. So that's really your title contenders at the moment. With all the bad luck that Iris, Coach Eric having left after winning the first race, and Valet have been having. Meanwhile, LMP2 could go either way, let's keep in mind. But we've got Valet 33, ridden by Riboli at the moment. If they can get into 5th position, would take, let's see, take 10 points, much like they did at Silverstone, which would give them 45 points. Mugen 21, if they finish 4th, will get 12 points. Put them 2 points ahead then, because they are equal with 33. Team Irish 77 are out, so they won't score anything. Bowling 28 are out. Green Game 72 are out. Oh, it's Joseph Frederick Suto in the leading. 36 goes off, and that looks like a damaged car there. Let's throw it on board. It's only a 4-second gap to Christian Toff. There we go. So Joseph Frederick Suto has blown it. Potentially. And he's going to have to get back to the pit sharp pitch. I hope he had a stop soon, because this is going to put him really out of sequence. If not, here we go. Christian Toff takes the lead in the 16 Team Imperium Aston Martin as Joseph Frederick Suto hits the wall and crabs his damaged car back to the pit lane. That does not look healthy at all. Yeah, there we go. And he's heading straight for the advertising hoarding there. Not a fan of the Nürburgring anymore, Joseph Frederick Suto. And that's a big dramatic moment, because the 36, the HML team have been doing extremely well, and Suto makes his way in. Luckily, a big gap to Royton, about 185 seconds behind. But this puts the number 16 in a winning position now. And where was I then? Okay, the 46, if they can finish second, this will put the 46 into Our 15.5 points at the moment, plus 18 would be... about 33, so they would be second in the championship. They would jump Team Iris and Bottling Motorsport and Reading Game. Certainly LMP2, the most interesting class of them all, but GD3 not too far behind, as Christian Toff continues, and Suto is serviced. GD3, Satellite Racing 64 gone, Mugen 88 not here today, Arnage Competition number 7 gone, Fringo on 444. The 444 have got 16 points to their name, but they can finish 6th. I think they would get another 8 points, I guess. That would put them in 32 as we look at Schumann and someone else he's fighting with, a lapped car of number 40. Even 32 points, they'd still be a point behind Arnage and Mugen 88. Oh, it's Christos Agudas in second, and the Rookie Monsters car spins at the first corner and narrowly avoids being taken out by his competitors there. Good reactions there from Peter Schumann as Otto Hurkan continues. 26 seconds down on Davis, so I think I really think these two are the most likely to battle it out for the win if Erkan can close on the 66. I'm not sure which way I'd be bet if I'm being honest. GR 66 are on 13 points at the moment, so you really need to get whatever points they can, because it's the 77 that's had all the glory so far. There they are, Chris Davis gamely continuing on. Team Imperium are only 2 points actually behind Ring of Bond. So if they can win this one, that could really 25 plus 14 would be 39, wouldn't it? 39 puts put them up to second, so it's still Satellite 64 and 50 points having won the first 2 rounds. If they were still competing, they would be the favourites, and it's a shame that with the sponsorship going that they haven't decided to continue, as we look at Guzowski drifting in front of the Rookie Monsters car. Royton is now pitting as well. There he is. Still about 60 seconds behind Jaeger in the 36. HHR only really competed at Silverstone, where they got, I think they finished second last, or no, actually third last in class. Got 2 points at Silverstone. Certainly the 36, if they could, they are 171 seconds down on the lead now after that error by Joseph Frederick Suto. If they can finish on the podium, that would really get their championship underway. But oddly enough, the 36 is listed as last on the GD3 standings for some reason. Don't know why. Boy Transport 206 should be actually last, and they're third at the moment, ahead of the 58. 58 have only got 10.5 points to their name. EERC Racing could really also benefit from this, as Guzowski has a big spin and hits the wall, and through goes Schumann. That Conan. But Conan was already ahead. Yeah, there's Pascal Eggert. So 3 of 1 having to make the way past the Boyd transport car. Here we go, let's have a nice low angle, shall we? Hasler should clear him fairly comfortably. And Guzowski gets out of the way. And will his teammate get out of the way as well? Here we go. Did have a heart and mouth moment as Riboli hits the wall. And that looks like a significant damage there. To the chicane part. Riboli, who was trying to catch Schumann actually. And this is catastrophic for him. Let's have a look. And the straight actually doesn't look too bad. The steering was just a mistake that cost him time at least. As Davis now pits from the lead of the race, which will hand it over to Arda Erkan. To Erkan now. Once he gets through, he has to make hay while the sun shines. Hour and 25 minutes left. Which strategy is going to work? It's going to be thrilling to watch. There we go. Davis stationary. Will they change drivers as well? That could really be interesting. Into the points. Get back into the lead. Certainly would be very interesting for the championship if into the points we were able to take maximum points from this. They are on 15.5 points at the moment. It's a shame that the 47 took third at Silverstone, because if they'd somehow able to attribute the podiums to both cars, they'd have 30 points right now. They'd be right in the thick of things. But as is, the 46 looking in a very strong position. The yellow in the second sector, which clears now. There's Vettel now pits as well. Riboli continues without getting to the pit lane, so there mustn't have been significant damage. But that's certainly, he's now almost 100 seconds behind Peter Schumann, so it's not been going well for the 33 at all, despite that move we saw earlier from Ballet. This also releases Martin Maguli, who is, as you can see, Maguli's about 55 seconds down on Chris Davis. Davis now with fresh tyres will be free to catch Erkan. So it's really a matter of whether Erkan can keep eking out the gap on Davis. Because I think Davis is theoretically in the lead. But it's going to go back and forth for a little bit. The longer we end the race. There's Roy Tunn in the 206 Ferrari, who have really had a very quietly impressive comeback. I think Boyd Transport have put in a very, very solid performance, and Roy Tunn can feel very proud of his team, running third at the moment on merit. Really took advantage of that lapping situation to get in front of the 58 of the EFA racing car. And Roy, certainly in that dark black Ferrari, making an impression. There's Nick Homewood, 381 seconds down on Joe Costis. This is all Ben Sporos hits the wall. And we've seen a couple of people go off there today already, I think. It's a bit hard to tell, other than Nürburgring, which corner we're at sometimes, of the whole 170 of them. As a Schumann is pit now. So this might bring him back into the clutches of Riboli, but there was a 100-second gap between the two. What's the gap between, as we look at Nick Conan, what's the gap between Joe Gostistis and Ricardo Revo? It's about 50 seconds, actually. So Joe has been slowly closing in the EFA Racing team. Slowly but surely, so there's a chance, a very remote chance, that the 27 could get on the podium, but it will need a lot of things to happen in duty-free. We had quite a few already. I'll be tempting fate to ask for more. Schumann's still in the pits. Where is Massimiliano Riboli? There he is. So I wonder if Schumann, there's a driver change or maybe some damage, because it's a long stop for the 139. And Riboli could take advantage here. Under the bridge he goes, the Bilstein Bridge. For that final chicane that was introduced way back in the sort of 60s, I believe, to sort of keep the speeds down. As Schumann exits the pit lane, there's Riboli. Is he going to be close enough? I don't think so. I think Peter Schumann will have a comfortable gap. There it is. So a few mistakes. Riboli lost his chance at finishing 5th in class there as Eggert struggling a little bit. Tries to... He's actually chasing down... he's only 6 seconds behind Christoph Segunis, who's not had a great... Oh, Arda Erkan! Class leader in the wall in the 46. That's a big error for Arda Erkan. And he's gone backwards in the wall there. How's that steering looking? Oh, it looks very bent. I think Arda Erkan's in trouble here. Chris Davis is going to be on him in a matter of moments. And Arda Erkan, it's really a case of surviving here. What a terrible, terrible error there. And the steering doesn't actually look that bad. Well, it's not great, but he might be able to continue. But that's certainly going to... Any chance he had of catching the number 66 has been given a big dent by that, and now Maguli could be a big threat now. As Conan makes it back to the pits. Arda Erkan mercifully able to hold the lead, but he's lost so much time from that spin into the wall, and hopefully he's able to just about hold on to the steering, because it's not handling as well as it was earlier, the into the points car. It's looking a little precarious. Soaring away at that steering wheel. Just about able to keep it under control. This is good driving from Arda Erkan. He's had a good stint. As we look at Nick Conan continuing to be serviced. Bettler gets past the class leader, Toff. Chris Davis. Davis, I think, has had an error as well, because he's 20 seconds down now. Oh, the wheel tells the story, I guess. As Riboli attempts to close down Schumann. This is all very exciting all of a sudden in LMP2. Let's keep an eye on this as Riboli tries to go around the outside of the EFA Racing team. Lap them. And he does so successfully, and now he's got a free run to catch Peter Schumann for 5th position. Looking like the 21 is going to take the championship lead in LMP2. They are second at the moment. They won last time out, and they're looking good for 3rd at the moment. But if Arda Erkan keeps making mistakes like that, and there could be a 2nd place for them. Oh, Mr. Massimiliano Riboli in the wall and spun, and the EVA Racing team hits him in the back, and loses the wheel. Oh dear, that's a terrible mistake there by both drivers. Riboli in the wall, but the EVA Racing car could well be out now of Ricardo Riva. Yeah, it's missing a wheel, I think, at the front. There we go, and there is the valet behind looking... Oh, it's not handling well at all. There he goes, crabbing horribly, but not as bad as the Corvette, the 58, missing its front right wheel, I think. No code 80 for this, of course. Yeah, there you go. Off it goes into the barrier again. How long has Ricardo Riva got to get back to the pits? How much ground has he got to cover? Riva, oh, he's got the whole final sector. Nearly at the Sector 2 split. But this is going to be a bit harem-scarum for anyone behind. He's got... Oh, is that Boros behind him? But this is, of course, a gift really to Joe Gostistis. There's Boros having to slide around, and Boros goes round and in the wall! Oh, dearie me. Ben's Boros having a bit of a difficult time. And that's the 2nd place. That's Jaeger getting through. And Riva gets well out of the way for both cars now. That's very sensible from the EFA Racing Team driver. What on earth? Boris has had loads of adventures like that at this circuit, it seems, and somehow survived to tell the tale. We got the who's coming up behind. We've got Joe Gostistis for position, and then we've got Bertland Semiana in the lead. So here we go. Ruva, I think, has been told to stop here. Maybe to retire now, actually. So yes, so Racing gave it a go, but once they lost the wheel, it was game over. They're not going to do the Mario Valencia method. So that's a big shame for the EVA Racing team. As we see yellow in the second sector, not sure what that's about. That promotes Joe Gostistis to 4th, and Nick Homer to 5th, actually, in the triple forecast. That's big, important points for the triple four. But the number 16 is the one that's going to lead the championship. Well, get in position to take second in the championship with, of course, the 64 satellite racing team leading on 50 points at the moment. See yellow in sector. That's Riboli, of course, struggling in his own journey. He's got the steering horribly bent. I think he's... Yeah, it's almost like more than 45 degrees there. There's Eggert taking a precautionary stop. No code 80s in this race. Not because we haven't had incidents worthy of them, but because they just haven't bothered with such a long circuit, I guess. Cool. I'm afraid very lonely in the commentary box. It's just me, really. No one even in chat talking about the race, even though we've got... How many people are watching this at the moment? It can't be too many. Did Larhoven negotiate the circuit? Right. Oh! Chris Davis in the wall! Big error by Chris Davis, actually. And that's not going to help. That's going to swing it right back to Ercan. And the steering not looking good at all. Oh, a 45 degree, almost 90 degree angle there for Chris Davis. So what was looking like a very good chance of victory has now been put into question now. With Ercan sort of got away with his error. And it looks like Chris Davis didn't. So the gap now up to 30 seconds. Maguli will not be far behind. And surely he will catch Chris Davis before the end of the lap. There he is. He's not far behind at all. So the 21 has been given a gift here. Number 66 is just struggling like crazy, Chris Davis. Not really had the pace of Ercan, it must be said. He's held on. But he's really going to hold up Maguli here if he's not careful. Here we go. This should be fairly straightforward then into the Caracciola S. And he holds his line. So it might be on exit with the big long straight then. Here we go to the inside. Nothing that Chris Davis can do as Evers gets a penalty. So there we go. A change for second in LMP2. Big error, and surely Chris Davis, all the hard work of the 66 crew has come undone now because he'll have to come in to repair the steering, which will take an absolute age. At least it will feel that way. Maguli continues up to second, and now he's free to chase Ercan down. So the 21 could well make it 2 wins from 2 now. Be winning both classes for Mugen, so the pressure now all on number 46 into the points. And now the de facto leaders, with the 66 now seemingly out of the picture. Can they even get to the pits? It will be quite a challenge. Go near the last hour, and oh, wide goes the 66 and it brushes the wall. That's not ideal for Chris Davis, but what can you do really? As actually, is that Riboli in trouble? Yes, it is. As Larhoven in the 140 gets through, so it's not just Iris in trouble, it's Valet as well. And oh, that does not look good at all. Chris Davis in similar trouble, as you can see. We had the touring car race, we had loads of drivers that would just carry on with bent steering. It seemed like only Iris were able to keep the car out of the trouble, and it seems the 66 has failed to do so over a long distance. Battle's not over yet. Iris could still come back. Like a long road from here. As Jaeger pits from second. Thomas Jaeger 230 seconds now behind Toff. As he sits idly in the pit lane. But he's still 70 seconds ahead of Roy Ton. Like I said, Roy Ton having a very quietly impressive race. Well, it's becoming less and less quiet. It's becoming more loudly impressive. Although he is 300 seconds down, he's done better than most of the people in the GD3 field. Look at Chris Davis continuing to have a bit of a harem-scarum ride. Rubioli as well, in a similar state of affairs. His steering, or lack thereof. You know, I was going to make some sort of comment about how many people are watching at the moment, wasn't I? 19, it says. Oh, it was Riboli. Oh, well and truly smoking. What on earth is going on here? Chris says, do you want me to come and say hi? Oh, I wouldn't mind that, Chris. As we look at... I think Riboli might be about to retire from the race there. That does not look healthy at all. Is that an engine failure, or is that just the gravel being kicked up at the back there? I think that was just the dirt, and he's just struggling so much with the steering. But Riboli now a lap down, and this is great for Larhoven in the 140, who have somehow been able to get up to 5th now with all of this. As Erkan gets to the pit lane, this is going to put Merguli in the lead. Oh, look, Riboli facing the wrong way now. I think the 33 will go no further in this race. Oh, no, there we go. He's just about able to get it going again. But, yeah, clearly at high speed, it does not like to pointing in a straight line with the bent steering. Erkan and Merguli in the pits then. So Erkan is going to get out ahead, you would think. Where is Chris Davis? Oh, still trying to finish off the lap with his buckled steering. Bent and buckled. But not quite broken yet. The 66 will shuffle into the pit lane. And I'm afraid Chris Davis has kind of got it all to blow. It's kind of his own fault that he's kind of blown potentially race-winning position. There's all that looked like one of the Fring of Ons facing the wrong way. Was that Pascal Eggert? It was, having a little spin. And did he make contact with the wall there? Don't think so. The steering looks okay as we see a yellow in the first sector. As there we go. Chris Davis has made it into the pits as Riboli actually. Stationary by the side of the road. There we go. The two Irises pit. Well, no, the one Iris and the Mugen. Paracan gets back on board the 46 as... what is Massimiliano Riboli doing? Desperately trying to make it back to the pits, I think. As Parakian gets away and restarts the lap, but it's Merguli. He's going to go first because Davis is surely going to have to repair his damaged steering. Another yellow in the first sector. Who is that? Parakian. No, there he is. Continuing. So now Donze takes third position off of Davis. So the 66 will have to clear the 42 once more. We see yellow in the first sector again. Some people just keep dropping it here, don't they? You think the Nordschleife would be the tough bit. As Riboli has also finally made it back to the pits. There he is. Despite the car trying to fight itself and tear itself apart. He's somehow managed to recover it. As it looks like Davis still stationary. Yep. Looks like the 66 has blown a great chance of victory here, but his loss is the 46's gain. And this Sagunas rookie monster's looking great for a podium because there's only 3 cars running and they are second of them. 100 seconds to the good ahead of Eggert. They've pulled out a gap again. And Toff leads Joseph Frederick Suto by 247 seconds now in GD3. Almost as big as the lead that Savannah has over Sagunas in LMP1. Let me see if we can get the race director to join us. Anyway, Savannah continues to lead by nearly 300 seconds now. What a dominant performance this has been from the 22. It puts their time right back on track. And certainly is very worrying for Iris and Valet. There's number 27, which has somehow managed to squeeze its way up to 4th now, with the retirement of Riva in the 58. This could... they are getting closer and closer to that podium. They are nearly 400 seconds down on Roy Ton, though. Who isn't too far off Suto, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if the 206 can somehow get into 2nd here, because Roy Ton is having a brilliant race. Maguli chasing down Perikian. Valente's got back on board the 66, but he's now 203 seconds down on the lead as Riboli. Homeward is still in the pits now, as you can see, in the 5th place 444. I remind you, 5th place and the 10 points that come with it would put him, the 444, into we give him 26 points. So they would still be where they are, I think. Oh, it's Jandonze. Third has hit the wall and lost his rear wing. Oh dear. And the steering is probably going to suffer as well. He's gone in backwards somewhere. Or been hit in the backside perhaps. And that's going to hurt. He was within 50 seconds of the lead. And now he's going to drop back behind Valente then. So immediately some good luck then for the 66 from misfortune of others. The 42 that have done a good job staying out of trouble. Jandonze. His luck running out. Oh, as Valente actually spins himself on the entry to the Nordschleife. That's not going to help him at all. What on earth happened there? Lost it. And that card not looking good at all. Still in better shape than Florian Vettler. 154 seconds. You got to think with the car, if he can keep out of the wall, Alessandro Valente has a good chance of catching Florian Vettler even before Vettler makes it to the pit lane. Oh, whoa! What on earth are you doing, Alessandro? This is a rallycross driving, not LMP2 prototype driving. Look at him go. Eunice. Continuing. Comes Valente. Oh, very close to the wall there. I'm not sure that's... it's almost like the tyres haven't gripped properly, but he's surely got them warmed up now. And the gap falling, there you go, by the second to Florian Vettler in front of him. You got to feel a bit for the 42 squad. Had a great chance of a podium there, and it's slipping away now. Just like that rear wing that's fallen off, and oh, Valente in a big crash. Oh, there we go. I should have seen that coming. And the rear's just gone. Valente pushing too hard, and the damage done to Iris. It looks like all 4 cars will have to retire then. Yeah, there we go. Such a shame for Alessandro Valente. Had some great moments in this race, but it won't go his way in the end. And they're dropping like flies, aren't they? So, as Maguli has an off from the second place as he tries to chase down Perikian. So somehow into the points through their rivals dropping out. They've gotten themselves back in, and now Donze in the 42 may yet finish third if he can just get to the pits. As Pascal Egger in trouble and slow, but he gets back underway. So a big error from Pascal, but no pressure behind. Really, Pascal should just take it easy from now on, because even though he's only 50 seconds behind Segunas, really, there's not much of a race. Oh, big off by Donze as he goes backwards at high speed and damages the car even more. There's only an hour left to go. Is anybody going to finish this race the way things are going? Really only going to be the top 3 in each class, isn't it? And incredibly, Rubioli in the 33, purely by just keeping going. Oleria is almost hit by Boros, actually, who looks like he's in trouble as well. Or is he just being lapped? Oh, no, he's definitely in some kind of trouble. Yeah, there you go. At least 30 degrees on the steering there, as Donze makes another trip off track. Let's have a look where Donze is. How far has he got to go? Yeah, look, not too far. You would think. Chan Donze. He's sixth in the order, so where is he in the track? Oh, Boros losing his rear wing now as well, so that's trouble for him. We get to the final hour then. So the big story there, the 66 out as Segunis pits, and so does Gazowski and Donze. Oh, he's not really making it easy for himself, is he? He's just hugging the wall. This is how you exit a maze, I guess. So, appropriate given we're at the Nordschleife. Was it the right-hand side you're supposed to hug in one of those hedge mazes, or the left-hand side? I can't remember. I can never remember. Royton continues on his way. The most impressive performance yet we've seen from the 206 and Royton. Surely he's going to have a crack at Suto before the end at the pace he's got. With the it's mainly avoiding mistakes, really, that Royton has impressed me with. He's made, I think, some of the least mistakes of anyone. There was one at the start, and then since then, completely clean, really, from what we've seen. Zowski. Number 40, Boyd Transport. Could still get 5th place here with Valente out. Larhoven is now 4th somehow. But it is really the 46 versus the 21 in the battle for victory, in 30 seconds between those two. Julie. Oh, there's Savannah in from the lead. But 378 seconds to Eggert now, who's ahead of Segunis. Because Segunis pit, of course. But could Pascal Eggert take... Oh! Boros in the wall again. Having to reverse his way out. Where is this? This looks like in the... Where's Boros? He's just coming up to the split for beginning of Sector 2. And he's got Suto behind him, actually. That could be quite interesting. Oh, look at that. It's not good at all. Oh, and that's Segunis backwards in the wall for Rookie Monsters. That's the guy who was running second, of course, in the overall order, and the car not looking healthy at all in the LMP1 field. So now Pascal Eggert runs second on merit. Could we see a big shock if something happens to 22? And Pascal Eggert winning overall. That would be quite a story. But second place, as it is, would suffice. And Eggert was putting the pressure on Segunis. They're doing an incredibly good job, it must be said. As Joe Gosistis continues on his way. In a very clean run. And 56 minutes left to go, so we should be able to chat to our winners fairly soon. But certainly Rookie Monsters will just be trying to get to the end now with the steering, I think. But they seem to have got it under control. You see yellow in the first sector again. Yeah, and Jandonze continuing to hug the wall. It's just painful watching that 42 car. Still running in third, incredibly, but I think Larhoven continuing to catch. He was almost a whole lap behind now. Now he's only about 300 seconds behind. Could we see 2 Ring of Honor podiums in this war of attrition in the prototype classes? That would be amazing, considering they've never got one before. So there's Suto in the 36, 242 seconds down. Suto sort of in no man's land, trying to keep Tom behind is Boros. It's Boros and Donze's. Larhoven overtakes. He wasn't that far behind at all, actually. There we go. Joke Larhoven in the 140 takes third position from the struggling Jan Donze, who's just trying to get through the last couple of corners. That car looks... Oh, it looks like an animal that wants to get to sleep. Like a cat. It doesn't look like a racing car anymore. And surely now... Sandak is going to be on the back in the number 40 quite soon as well. But Donze sluggishly gets it back in the pits. And at the lowest speed, still having to go at a 90-degree angle on the wheel. They're not gentle on these cars, are they? As we look at Joe Gostistis pitting. And I think we've now been...
Hello.
Oh, we have been joined by someone. I thought
I saw you were on your own. I thought I'd jump in for a little
Well,
bit.
Chris promised to join, and then... I believe he's here, but he hasn't said anything. I think he might have been waiting for me to shut up. But, but anyway, Tom... bad luck for the 72 earlier, but the 27 of Joe, it's just in the pits at the moment, having a very quietly impressive run, isn't it, in the Aston?
Yeah, he had a spectacular crash, actually, as I was watching.
Oh, I was thinking how clean he was having. Clean
yes,
race
it was Max Petrovsky has had some issues with his wheel, or I think it was his VR headset actually was overheating. He has something of a screen freeze.
VR at the Nürburgring, yes. Always
And,
to bring out your latest tech at the place where if things go wrong, it ends in an accident.
And, well, he flips multiple times in the air, I've heard.
Well, even more than Sismiada when Mario Valencia hit him. Did you see that?
I didn't see that. I haven't seen a lot of the race, actually. But I've noticed that it's such... We said it was going to be an attritional race, but it's really gone a lot more attritional.
I'm glad
than I think
it's just 4
what
hours
expected.
rather than the 6 or 8, because I'm not sure we'd get many finishes if it was anything more.
And there's so many fine margins because you have to be so on top at this circuit. You know, the reason that we crashed was because I put David off by asking him how much fuel we had left at the wrong part of the track.
Oh no, nothing. That was just a lag on our end. Never mind. It's just Oliver Perikian has had bad internet connection, so we keep cutting to him. It keeps showing him spinning off in the gravel, and he's back on the circuit. So I panicked there.
Now see the flipping car of the LMP2. Well, actually, I can't because the Discord's not working. But anyway, I'm sure it was spectacular. But it's such... And the thing is, this track offers so many unique challenges. It's very interesting to drive. For example, we weren't brewing our tank in our stints. We were only running 65 litres per pit stop. Purely because if you put 75 litres on, you do... not a whole number of laps, if you know what I mean, and you couldn't save the extra fuel, so it was better to just put in less fuel than you needed.
Oh, Crystal Seguna's in more trouble. So Pascal has actually had a very good stint here because he's put pressure on rookie monsters, and Crystal Segunas has really been struggling. He was backwards in the wall. The steering was bent, and really it's a matter of avoiding damage, isn't it? As ever at the Nordschleife. It seems that there's not really a case of taking it easy. It's basically who can push the most without crashing as many times and without retiring. It seems to be everyone playing chicken with one another. As Mia Levis has a little off and he recovers.
Would this be the first win for the number 46 into the points racing car?
It would be. They've taken a podium earlier this season at Barcelona, but Maguli the 21, the championship leaders, joint championship leaders, at least going into this round, the 33 has not had a good race at all. Even, I would argue, even worse than the 72's race, it must be said.
Probably.
What happened to the 72 again?
Going into a corner, I asked David what the fuel was looking like to know when I had to jump into the car, and obviously I said it to him, not realising he was going into a corner, and it just put him off a little bit, and it caused him to spin into the wall.
Oh dear. It was a shame, because I think the 72 was running third when that happened.
We were, and it looks like we could have probably taken the win if we'd have stayed in the race.
Well, I think there's a lot of stories like that for up and down the field. Speaking of which, you said Perikian and the 46 are looking good at the moment. Even better is number 16 Team Imperium with good old Christian Toff at the wheel at the moment. But they've had a very good race indeed, because the 36 looked like they were running away with it, HHR at one point. Then Joseph Frederick Studo bumped it in the wall just before long straight, and basically the number 16 crew have run away with it really to the tune of 237 seconds now with 49 minutes left to go. So it's looking very, very good for Team Imperium, who this season, Team Imperium, I remind you of, where the hell are they? There we go. They finished, they got 4 points in Barcelona, and they finished, they got 10 points for, that looks like 5th in Silverstone. So they've improved leaps and bounds, and taking their first win, that would be a big story for those guys.
And it's unbelievable that some people can do 24-hour races on this circuit. I really do not understand how they do that, because as we see Massimiliano Ribelli again having a few issues.
And Ribelli's not as a great driver, and he's just really, really struggling. It might be the way this LMP2's set up, but it seems like Valet really... The 23, they had a brilliant car, and they just got taken out by an incident with... it was the key incident of the race was Valencia going off track and basically T-boning the Paul Street Boys LMP2 of Richard Sismiarda. Sismiarda was struggling to get back to the pits, and then got basically collected Bintz. They had coming together, and Bintz was out, and it was a shame because he was fighting the 22 for victory there. And Valet, again, not for the first time this season, having horrible luck, because that was exactly what happened in Barcelona as well. They got taken out in an accident, and there was them lapping traffic and getting a penalty, which cost them the win at Silverstone. So Valet will, no doubt, be licking their wounds.
But, I think Sorry, Ed. One of the important things to note as well is that the GT3 cars were designed with this circuit in mind. Of course, the Nürburgring 24 Hours is one of the big GT3 races in the world. So they're sort of designed with Spa, Nürburgring, and to an extent places like Daytona and Sebring. So the GT3 cars are very much designed to be able to take on the challenges of this very unique racetrack. Whereas the LMP2s and the LMP1s, they're not designed to be bounding around here. 70 turns, 25 kilometres. They're really not designed to be able to take, never mind the bumps, but also just how thin it is and to be lapping traffic. It's just not really how the cars are designed. I know we've done it in the virtual Le Mans series, and it, to be fair, didn't go very well, did it? For them, because of server issues. But, so I think getting the setup right for the LMP2 is very, very difficult around this circuit, purely because, in many ways, it is too fast for this circuit.
Indeed. I've just been thinking about the point situation in LMP2, so I think Reading Game came into this, let's see, first thing, they were 5th in the championship with 18 points, and I believe into the points number 46 will jump a lot of people, actually, if they win this one. But of course, Mugen 21, they're on 35 points going in. If they finish second and get 18 points, they will lead the championship, I believe, from the 46. Because if you 35 plus 18 is about 49, I think. And then 46 came in on... It's a shame, actually, because the 47 actually finished third at Silverstone in LMP2 as well. If the 46 and 47 combined their best results and they both got 2 podiums, they'd be right in the mix and probably leading the championship at the end of this. But they're 15.5 going into this one, so getting 25 points, they'd be on 45.5, so they'd be only a couple of points behind Mugen. They'd be Mugen's closest challengers, really, going out of this weekend.
and finishing this race is so important.
Even with
for
45
teams.
minutes left to go, he could go either way in that battle, really. And I'm amazed actually to see Fring of Ond, because I know, Nick Homer is probably more invested in the adventures of Fring of Ond, but as we look at Mia Levis here, but the Larhoven in the 140, Eggert in the 137, second in LMP1 and third in LMP2 respectively. They've never finished on the podium. They've won GT3 memorably at Mugello last year, but they never finished on the podium in the prototype classes. So this would be amazing for them, wouldn't it?
It would, and I think
what that's like, because you've finished second at Spa and on the podium a couple of times in your LMP2 career with the 72, of course.
And so that podium for Larhoven will be so important to him in terms of confidence as well, because he hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been particularly up there in that number 140 so far this season, and that will just boost.
I don't think the 140 has done a race this season because they're not in the championship order.
Yes, of course, Larhoven was driving for someone else, wasn't he? I remember
and then
now.
Pascal and his Fring of On team picked him up, but there he is at the moment, 425 seconds behind the next car, which of course is Maguli. So it's looking like they're basically going to finish third here if they just hold on. But it was really the 42 driven by Raphael Mir at the moment, but it was the 42 looked like it had an easy third and then binned it basically, and so could easily fall out of the clutches of Joe Blahoven, but certainly hasn't let it happen so far. He's had his setbacks in this race, but he's recovered and got back to ahead where others have dropped out. And as
of course,
Roy Ton just coming into the pits now.
Because the LMP2 cars are so low to the ground, you can really see how they're almost porpoising.
They're buckling under the sort of camber changes.
And they are, and to use the buzzword that seems to be everyone in the F1's paddock favourite word at the moment. But the LMP2 cars, they're really just sort of bouncing around, and it's so difficult to control them as well. Towards the end of the loop, you're almost airborne at some of the faster downhill sections, as we see Nick Homewood. And just look at how much he, even in the GT3 car, is going to have to fight the wheel through this section.
Well, this car has taken its fair share of punishment. Not in the hands of Homewood, funnily. There was Mario Valencia had to do wide as he goes, and just gives the wall a little kiss. But this car had to do an extra, almost a lap of the Grand Prix circuit, missing its front left wheel because they pit for repairs. Nick Homewood was supposed to jump in. Valencia jumped back in to serve a penalty, and then he came out the pits. They hadn't put the wheel back on.
And
so this is a little glitch of the game. But he didn't have to do the whole Nordschleife lap, thankfully. He just came back in from the GP loop.
And one thing that the R Factor 2 simulation hasn't quite run on board with Joe Gudstitis in the Aston Martin, one thing that the simulation hasn't quite got right is it doesn't show you how much they're having to fight the wheel. In these guys' sims at home, they'll be having so much force feedback and there'll be so much fighting as they go through the corners. They'll be really struggling to hold on.
You really fatigue after a while, especially at a circuit like the Nordschleife.
Particularly if you're on direct drive or something like that, but there's a lot of smoothing effects added when you're spectating on a driver, and that really makes it look a lot easier than it is. In that car, they will be fighting so hard to keep control, and it won't be so bad in the GT3 cars, who, as we said, are designed for this circuit. But the LMP1s and the LMP2s especially will be having so much difficulty keeping it on the road, the lower right height.
So 42 minutes left to go. So Hallam Voice has gotten on board the 206. Roy Tunn has done, it must be said, a brilliant job to get that car up to third. Now he's just under 400 seconds between Joe and Hallam Voice. Hallam Voice we saw struggling in that first stint. If Hallam Voice has another accident, surely the podium's on for Joe Gostistis in GT3.
100%. I think anything could happen here, though. Normally in endurance racing we say that one lap isn't a particular great deal. In 4-hour races, one lap tends to be quite a lot. So these are really, in many ways, sprint races. 4-hour.
Pascal just get us on the curb and narrowly avoids losing the car there. But it feels like in the LMP1, there's just that on a knife edge on constantly. And you have to say full marks to the crew of the 22, the Von 37 and the 73 for staying in the race as long as they have, because the car looks like almost like lethal at certain points of the circuit, especially the high speed turns. It looks like the car's constantly trying to twitch out on them as Suto has a little moment and
There
continues.
is absolutely no room as well for not pushing around this circuit. I tried to start with when I was practicing to just not push the car at all. However, you can't do that at the Nordschleife. You're either on the limit or you're not. There's no tyre saving, fuel saving that you can really do, because the second you start overthinking and you think about anything other than getting around this circuit unscathed, then you end up making stupid mistakes. And as we said, you remember, these drivers haven't got any assists. They've got to memorise 70 corners and 25 kilometres of road in order to get around this track.
It's 170 corners.
170 corners.
Well, technically, but
that's even more than I thought, actually.
But I think in terms of braking zones, there's like 70. Oh, you've been driving the track, so it depends if you count the little kinks and stuff as corners, which I technically do. I'm trying to remember all the names of them, but there's like so many that it's.
It does change actually, depending on who you ask. Because I've seen the 170 number floated around, and the 70 number. Oh no, it's Alan Voice.
Oh dear! Well, just as we predicted, Alan Voice in trouble, and that is going to allow. Let's see where on earth Joe is. Here he is. 370 seconds down now, so he's closed 20 seconds because of that spin. So the pressure really on Alan Voice to hold on to that podium in the dying phase of the race. Well, here he is. 160 is the next to this. Shall we get the 1v1 battle up between himself and not Suto? Actually, we want Joe, don't we?
Unfortunately, you have to go to Joe for that. And
oh no, now it's showing Nick Homewood.
I think it's because it's the closest battle, isn't it? Joe really needs to get move on here to catch up to Voice. Of course, really, at this stage, with a 1 lap gap plus 310 seconds, that's about 13 minutes between those two cars.
There you go. Oh no, that's still Nick Homewood it's showing. And when I go to Roy, not Roy, to Hallam, it's showing the gap between him and Suto. So how about extended battle? That might do the trick.
Imagine.
Battle for third with him, Voice, and nobody. So these graphics are clearly playing ball right now. I think the thing that's confusing is because Chris Davis retired in the it was Alessandro Valente, sorry, in the 66. Eggert now pits as there's a second and third in LMP2. Lahoven and Maguli. Parakian was dropping Maguli. The gap was then 40 seconds actually before Maguli pit. So Oliver Parakian doing an absolutely superb job, and I've seen him in FSI actually in Malaysia recently. He had a brilliant race where he did a free stop strategy compared to everyone else. Had a brilliant battle near the end for I think it was 6th place, but he was overtaking people constantly. It wasn't the best strategy, but he almost made it work, which was very impressive and entertaining to watch as Joe wrestles and hustles the car. Aston Martin getting his work out here at the Nordschleife and then some, as he desperately tries to close in on the 206.
As Joe as well, particularly in the LMP2, is always a very aggressive driver, and I think that's why the GT3 has come to suit him a lot more. He said to me before the season, he said, "I don't want to do LMP. I want to join in the GT3 because it just suits my driving style better." And the 27 has had such a troubled start to the season. This is the first race that we've actually taken the start on, because at Barcelona, one of our drivers lost force feedback on the formation lap, sorting table, to even start the race. And then in the last race at Silverstone, one of our drivers got COVID. Another one of our drivers wasn't available. And,
yeah, I know the 27 car has been trying to get into a couple of races, hasn't it? So it's great to see them finally in action and doing a superb job, it must be said.
Well, it has been a superb job from everyone in that car, and a bit of a silver lining to what otherwise has been a pretty disappointing afternoon as we watch Joseph Frederick Suto, who it hasn't been smooth sailing for him today, but he remains in second position.
He's going into the pit lane now. I think the problem with Joseph Frederick Suto is, just before the race, he said to me, "I'm going to try and cut corners if I can get away with it," and then he actually binned it from the lead in GT3, which let Toff get away really, because they were leading in the 36 when Suto in the HHR touched the wall and bent the steering really. But which is a shame, but certainly second place would still be an amazing result for the 36, who are I'm pretty sure have not got their season underway yet. Yeah, it's showing them they've only got 2 points from Silverstone, although they are showing as last in the actual overall standings, which is a bit weird. So I assume there's something going on with the spreadsheet there that I forgot. But it's certainly very, very wide open. I even wouldn't rule out the 27 from winning the championship if Satellite Racing 64, Mugen 88, and Arnage number 7, who've been running away with the championship so far, all three of them abandoned because there's no prize money anymore. Especially Arnage, I think, cited that was the reason they were leaving in Satellite 64 as well. Liam Rance told me. So I almost feel tempted to enter a Hunter Simulation number 64 and get Liam Rance back in and see if I could inherit those points to sort of try and do a last-minute partnership with Satellite.
It did confuse me, actually, the driver saying that, or team saying that the prize money was such a draw for them.
I don't get paid anything to do this, so...
Exactly. And you and Josh and all the commentators and all the admins
and Ryan,
who
was here early, and Adam as well, who was like up at 7 in the morning to help qualifying.
Worked so hard on the series, and prize money really wasn't that great of a deal for a season's worth of work. I mean, it was certainly helpful.
Maybe there was something to do with the sponsors as well. It could be that because of the war in Ukraine affected was it Sadler, or I forget who it was.
It was actually the official announcement. I'm going to tread carefully here. What was officially announced and what wasn't. So if you give me a moment, there we go. Yes, we officially cited the war in Ukraine because obviously Alexei.
But I don't know which side.
It was
that particular sponsor was in on that, but
it was Alexei, one of the founders of EERC, actually a Russian himself. So it was obviously
okay.
well at the moment physically impossible for him to get the money over to wherever it needs to go when all is said and done.
Well, let's hope Alexei is okay, because it's not a great place to be at the moment, Russia, in terms of the environment, especially if you're against the war. You're very, very brave to speak out, and of course, we are support for everything that's happening in Ukraine and other parts of the world too, because it's not just Ukraine. There's been a war in Yemen for like the last 7 or 8 years or whatever it's been. It's been pretty horrific too, and so our thoughts are with the victims of these wars, and hopefully we'll live to see an end to them. Because and a peaceful solution too, because I think a war that ends in death and destruction is a pretty pointless war, in my opinion. It's got to end in negotiation and goodwill and peace to all mankind, at least the ones that are left over, at least. Anyway, that's very depressing and nothing.
On
really
that cheery note, let's get
back to the destruction derby that is the Nordschleife. They'll take our mind off things for sure. Suto still in the pits actually. So that's good news for Joe, isn't it? What's the gap?
Back on the same lap, which is crucial for Joe.
320 seconds then, the gap. So Hallam Voice, Suto has now dropped behind Voice actually, which is interesting. We sort of ignored that in all of what's going on. So Suto, I think, must have damaged the car, which is why I made the extra stop there, or he's out of sequence to everyone else.
I think it's something to do with the pitting with 30 minutes to go, especially when the fuel tank in GT3 is supposed to...
Oh, look at this! Sandak flips over and does a breakdance, almost, in the number 40 that's running 4th in class. That will not do the steering any favours, or the engine, or the suspension, or the aerodynamics.
Or his ego.
No, certainly not. The ego took the most bruising in that landing, I think. But Sandak survived somehow, and is let's hope he can get to the end now in the number 40. The Boyd transport car, which has had its adventures today, having perhaps the most perilous adventure of all. Yet,
I sincerely hope he's not on a direct drive wheel, because his wrist will be feeling a little bit sore.
Peter Schumann, Neil Evers, teammate of Peter Schumann, of course, 55 seconds down now. And with that landing, I would be very surprised to see the number 40 not going to the pits at the end of this lap.
His steering seemed okay, in fairness to Sandak. So
yes, it was his head who took most of the punishment.
So unless it's just a little bit of bodywork damage that perhaps...
I'm glad we caught that on stream. That was entertaining, if nothing else. As Perikian pits from the lead now for perhaps the final time in the race.
And, he might have a little bit difficulty, because we were saying that it's about 30 minutes per stint. And one actually huge thing that I haven't even thought about yet is the fact that sometimes in endurance racing we see someone cross the line with a second to go or something like that. And of course, once they got slower in the second to go, they have to do another lap. Normally that's quite negligible, because that's 1 or 2 litres of fuel. You've got that kind of buffer anyway towards the end of the race. If you have to do another lap here, that's another 15 litres of fuel.
Yes, we could see some real last-minute heartbreak here, couldn't we? Especially with that long straight and in the back straight as well. As Toff negotiates. I'm so glad they don't have to do the full Mercedes-Benz arena like the touring cars had to do. As entertaining as that was. But that might be why it's only 170 corners rather than 172 as it was. It's hard to keep track of the different layouts, you know, of the Nordschleife that have been over the years. At least we don't have to do the Südschleife as well with the old layout. I don't think that really exists anymore. It's mainly an old motorcycle layout as we look at Lahoven continuing on his way. With that flip for Sandak, Lahoven is looking very good to finish third now.
And apparently Sandak got a little bit of a knock to the right rear, but was lucky to not lose his rear wing, I'm being told. However, the steering has held straight, which of course is crucial. So I imagine what most of that damage will be, and you get this a lot, particularly in the LMP2, is that the steering won't be bent, but the rear will just be a little bit loose and unpredictable. So he's going to have to be very, very careful indeed. And you can see he is holding the steering ever so slightly bent. So that rear is definitely going to be quite loose.
Right. So yeah, he needs to be extra careful on his way back to the pits. And when he gets there, surely Neil Evers is going to be right with him, 36 seconds behind. So that is really the big battle now, isn't it? With 29 minutes left to go. Maguli is now 70 seconds behind Perikian, who has managed things masterfully. Even Pascal Eggert having a bit of crabbing, actually. So he's not been immune, although he's done better than most, it must be said. 87 seconds ahead of Segunas. So Eggert is not... granted, if he finishes second or third, he's still on the podium, but Eggert will desperately want to finish second. As Saviana, he's not slowing down despite the lack of challenge from behind. 42.9 final sector, best final sector of the race so far. And he was actually pretty close on the last lap to his best lap. 6:52.6. Sorry. His best lap, 6:52.1.
We look at Martin Mergley in the 21 Mugen car. And no matter what happens, Mugen always seems to be up there. And I'm not too sure how they do that.
Well, it's mainly here, others ahead dropping. I think Iris really had the better of Mugen in this race, and then Tobias Blumschein had some kind of error while leading, or there was some kind of screen freeze, or the wheel died, and he just went into the wall at the final sort of kink at Tiergarten, and then Alessandro Valente sort of had the 66, Chris Davis I think binned it, and then Alessandro Valente binned it. And Valente binned it in the middle of the Nordschleife, and that was kind of it. So it was a bit miserable in the end for Iris, especially after, it must be said, taking their first victory is Joseph Toff, rears it into the barrier, and somehow the rear wing survives of the Paul Street boys. But Joseph Toff has not had the cleanest run, has he?
I don't think anyone's had the cleanest run in this race.
Well, especially that the 753 Paul Street Boys car, though, which is running last in GD3, 3 laps down.
You do feel so bad for a lot of these drivers because it's such a tricky racetrack.
Yeah.
And it's not so much about how good of a driver you are.
I feel very sorry for the LMP2 Paul Street Boys car that got taken out by Max Valencia and flipped over. That was it was a mistake by Valencia as well. It's not like he sort of deliberately did it, obviously. It was just sort of going wide. He went straight on and T-boned him. There's nothing anyone could really do about that, and the stewards don't seem to have investigated it. The stewards have been very lenient, actually.
It's actually because a lot of the reports are being investigated post-race, so I'll have to keep an eye out on that.
Max Petrafsky said, he's talking about his VR headset, on the Dottinger home my overlay came up and I flipped multiple times while I was trying to press the pit request key, then it started overheating.
Yep, that's the story I heard as well.
And we have Little Audi, I'm not sure who that is, saying, first race of Iris and could have been a win, instead made one error, got loads of damage. This must be Chris Davis then. Then the game didn't change the rear tyres and also seems like we had perma damage, so frustrated. And he said, Petrafsky says it was broadcast, rip you of the fuck, so we must have been commentating on that. So I apologise, I did say that Chris Davis binned it, but actually it sounds like it wasn't entirely his own fault there. Well, he actually made an error, so I think he did cop to that. But one error can have catastrophic consequences, as I said earlier.
As we see, Parakian in the number 46.
And let's keep an eye on the Joe Gossistis Joseph Frederick Suto situation. Suto is about 33 seconds behind Hallam Voice. Joe Gossistis is 281 seconds behind Joseph Frederick Suto, but he's only got 25 minutes to catch her. It's going to take a big mistake, isn't it? And Suto seems to be dropping further and further behind Hallam Voice. So Voice actually doing very well in the Boyd Transport car. And this will be an amazing result for the Race 6 to finish as runners-up.
Joe, of course, not actually hasn't sat on an EERC podium since the spooky Le Mans that we did in October 2020. He wasn't in the leading game car when
Segunas looks very damaged here. He's fallen to 125 seconds behind Eggert now. So Pascal can breathe a sigh of relief now because the steering on the Rookie Monsters car does not look particularly handy, and into the gravel he goes. Look at that. The lovely evening sun and the shine of gravel on the back of the car. Drifts of smoke coming out the back, but it's not the engine, it's just the ground. He's slow to a crawl as well as Christos Segunas.
I think one of my main issues with this track is that it is not even much potential for racing. We're seeing huge gaps between cars. There's not a lot of traffic.
Well, there's not a lot of cars left at this point.
Exactly, and I think really it's just not a particularly great spectacle watching a race that's
why it's only 4 hours.
Yes, people falling off the road.
And Rafael Mir has actually set a best final sector of, I think that's in class, because it's a 42.5, but it might be the best of anyone. I'm not sure if that's with the slipstream, but he's 5 seconds now behind Mia Levers, so game on in terms of that battle for 7th overall and 4th in the order. The 42 coming back as, that looked like Toff having a little bit of a moment there, trying to lap Nick Homewood, but he gets through.
Thankfully, it's Interlagos next month.
Yeah, Interlagos should be a great race because it's very suited to endurance racing as well as open wheel formula racing.
Of course, a few less places to have quite as many fireworks as here at the Nordschleife.
I don't know, that Centre S can be quite... you have 3 cars along side by side of each other in different classes. I see plenty of potential in the infield section where it gets very narrow indeed as well.
It does get quite narrow actually, and perhaps with GT cars it could be quite difficult, particularly into...
Look at Rafael Mir really pushing to try and make sure that Mia Levers does not escape.
Particularly to the right hand of turn 4 actually, into Lagos, the sort of fast double apex corner. That must be so difficult for multi-class, and actually I'm not very looking forward to that. That will be a 6-hour race, of course, on the 17th of April, I think.
Believe so. Of course, we'll have the touring cars before that on the it's April 10th, isn't it?
I think so, yes. There's yellow flags yet again in Sector 1, but they get cleared quite quickly.
Yeah, Mir has got the gap down to 4.9. So there's Voice actually in trouble, or is he just being lapped here? Just being lapped, I think. How's the steering look? That's the most point call. Is the steering bent as Eggert now comes into the pit lane? Should emerge ahead of Segunas.
Not a great place for us to check whether the steering is bent through a corner.
Yeah, well, you sort of don't really get much chance to dictate where the car is when you're the commentator or the broadcaster. But there we go. Got to make the best of it, I guess.
Well, it's been a fun race regardless.
3.7 now, so Mia Levers looking very, very vulnerable. I wonder if he's struggling with some kind of steering issue now.
I think probably we might be able to see one of our first on-track overtakes past the first 10 minutes of this race.
Well, we've seen a few actually, but it's been a bit... I think the GD class has been the most entertaining actually. I thought it was going to be the LMP2, and there was certainly great strategic battle there. But it was... it's kind of with the Irises dropping out, with Bolling Motorsport dropping out, and...
Oh, no, that was very dramatic. That was the number 73 actually going very, very slowly on the right-hand side of the circuit.
Yeah,
and
Segunas,
you can see having a huge issue. Is that a recurrence of the steering issues that we saw them obtain last lap. The other two in LMP1 are into the pits. They'll be making
Eggert's
their final
out,
pit
actually.
stops. Yep, Eggert out now. Savanya is almost off the jacks. It's going to be about a 60-second pit stop, I believe. And, well, it was a 1:01 pit stop, actually. And, well, Skunas really not having the rub of the green here. Maya, however, is on the charge. 1.6 seconds behind P4. That would be the final on Motorsport
Third and fourth
car.
would be an amazing finish in LMP2 for Frinavond, given how it's been slim pickings in LMP2, really. Occasionally, Pascal has been able to get them good top fives, top sixes, but they've never quite gotten onto the podium yet, and certainly third and fourth would be a very, very sweet finish for them.
And the writing certainly feels like it's on the wall here. Look at how close Rafael Meyer is getting, and I think down this big straight he's going to pass the stricken 139. You can see the 139 has to move to defend, weave to try and break the slipstream somewhat.
There's
However,
lots of Meyer didn't get a great run out of the final, out of this sort of long corner, did he? Which corner would that be if I look at the track map to remind myself?
How much he's gaining regardless. They almost hit VMAX down the straight. This is the longest straight the FIA physically allows in motor racing as we head down into the final braking zone of the circuit. Is Meyer going to be able to make something special happen here? Look at how much he gains under the braking zone. 1/10 of a second right there, and now perhaps down into turn one. This is going to be his opportunity. Better do it on the GP layout than in the loop. You can see, look at the slipstream. He's going to have to go defensive. Is Evers. I don't think that stricken Oreca can have much of a candle.
Oh, he's holding the inside,
number
but he
42,
goes a bit
and he goes
wide.
deep. But he'll get away with that. Perhaps on the switchback, Rafael Meyer is going to try and make the move. They're so close together, and you'd think he's putting up actually a pretty valiant defence. Is the number 139. Of course, they've had a pretty rocky start to the season, and they're really
there's some
looking
lap
for
traffic ahead of them as well.
all of a sudden, the last 18 minutes of this race, it has come alive in LMP2, and we're almost certain that Rafael Meyer has got a little bit of damage. I don't see
That looks
why
like
he'd be so slow otherwise.
Yeah, it looks like Paul Street Boy 753 is retired, so that looks like actually your car, Tom. The joke, because this is just getting out of the way. Didn't have to slow down too much, of course, because it's not got the same grunt that these powerful LMP2s have got. Of course, even the LMP1 eclipses that, of course. But Meyer looking very strong here. The problem is he going to run out of time here? And also, have they both got the fuel to make it to the end? That's the big question.
Got probably 3 laps to make this move. I think he will do it. I think most of their pace differential is actually coming onto the loop itself. I don't think many people are too far away from each other on the GP
And
layout.
Segunas has made it back to the pits at least. So he is in the safe bosom of the pit lane to recover. But I think the battle with Pascal Eggert is over now, realistically.
Meyer's going to have to make the move on the actual Nordschleife itself. I'm pretty certain. You can see how much he's gaining, and we'll have to confirm whether that 139 is damaged or just slow on the Nordschleife. I'm going to assume damaged.
Discord message from Tobias Blumschein from earlier, because I think there was a bit of confusion about what happened to him, but he's telling me that my PC crashed, basically, is what Tobias is saying, which explains his mysterious retirement as, oh, look at this, the yellow and blue number 42. The Zurich Racing team looking for their first top 4 in LMP2. So the 139.
The next major braking zone for LMP2 is right here. Is he going to go for an audacious lunge? I don't think he will. They've got to almost be completely flat through there, not quite, and then brake as hard as you dare. Down into second gear, perhaps into first gear, take as late of an apex as you like, and then back on the throttle to be thrown around by this sequence of corners, ever so slightly downhill. The car just upset if you touch any of these curbs, and now Meyer perhaps is going to have to eye up the chicane. Nope, not enough room there, and he's just having to stay behind. He can make the move whenever he wants, so the 139 is really at the mercy of the number 42, and we're going to have to see how this battle develops. I have to feel like the writing is indeed on the wall at this stage.
Yeah, are we into Sector 2 now? or are you still in Sector 1 for both of these cars? It looks like we're just coming into Verstein, X-Mule, and Ausfahrt Braid Shield. And once again, Raphael Mir getting in the mirrors. Look at the Ring of Honor's got the lights fully on. No such dramas for the number 42. There's no way through here as they go down through the back end of the circuit through Bergwerk. And this looks like the Caracciola S that they're approaching as well, the Kesselgen.
And down into the back. It's not this corner, is it? It's the
multi-curve,
no,
yes.
It is actually. That's it's kind of been
because they cut off the Caracciola carousel, I think, a little bit, because that's for really tight open withers and stuff.
It's been sort of slangily nicknamed Misha's corner. That double corner there, hairpin, due to him having.
Oh, that's right
there.
On the nose. And look at this, Mia Levis having to put out all the stops here. It's all down to him, isn't it? Whether he can keep Raphael Mir behind, but I feel once they get to the back straight, it's going to be
this could end in
inevitable. Yeah. Yeah, it depends how badly Mia Levis wants this, doesn't he? Will he settle for fifth, or will he fight like crazy for fourth? And
there's no room
in the middle of the road.
And this is where you've just got to trust the guy ahead of you at this speed that he's not going to brake for the next corner.
Oh, Maya backed out there.
Oh dear. He's really got to be careful, because you don't want to run into the back of someone, because you can't anticipate their lines through this course. Of course,
not really what you want to be. Where you want to be in Plant Garden, is it?
When you're focused on the car ahead, you're not focused on the one of the 170 corners that you've got to navigate, and that can lead to dangers. Through the carousel, there's going to be no overtaking through there unless you're extremely brave. 9/10 of a second.
Frederick Suto, meanwhile, has closed within 16 seconds of Hallam Voice, actually. So Voice struggling again. And it looks like Joe Costis is still about 300 seconds behind Joseph Frederick Suto, so the podium might not happen in the end. But it's still fourth looking good. But it's the 26 and the 206 could have a big battle themselves once this is over.
This is where it's got to get. We head into the back end of the Nordschleife.
Oh, look at that Mir really hanging it out. He's putting it all on the line here, isn't he?
If Mia is able to sort of get on the back as they head down the straight, then he could make the pass on the straight. We've seen that 42 hasn't got a particularly great deal of straight line speed, and for a car that we assuming is somewhat damaged, the number 139 is driving out of his skin to keep ahead in this race. And with 13 minutes to go, he's got probably 2 laps at the line.
Nick Homeward makes what will be almost certainly his final stop in the 444 car. Miserable race for Print of One, but even in fifth, they will still score a hefty amount of points that will help their championship. You never know, the 444 could overcome and get their season into a great position. But now Team Imperium looking like they will be the big challengers. Let's look at this. Maya really closing up now as they go through. This looks like Schrobbelschranz and the Kleinest carousel they're going through.
And this is going to be the move. I think he's managed to find the space around the outside. And there we go. It's actually been let
very
through
impressive.
in the end.
There we go.
That's
so that was
Maya.
Yeah. Oh, and almost on the grass there as he tries to get the best run he can out of Gagelkopf. But yeah, Raphael Meyer up then into fourth in class, and Mia Levers will have to settle unless he's just close enough to pick up the slipstream. I don't think he is. But,
he is definitely. He's only 7/10. He'll be picking up the slipstream, hence the weaving.
But he's
it's
weaving.
very aggressive.
Yeah. Is this going to come under scrutiny later on? As definitely, he doesn't want him to pick up even the remotest hint of a slipstream, does he?
Well, I'd say it's certainly not against the rules, as he's definitely not close enough for the weaving to have too much of an effect, especially at the Nordschleife. And it was actually quite smart from Mia Levers to it was a tactical concession to let the number 42 through. And now he's going to have to be able to, he's not going to
he's not got the run. As into the pits! Oh,
and you can see there, you can see the crabbing, the ever so slight crabbing from the number 139. That's what he's had to contend with. And now, has the number 42 used
it's out of fuel, I think. It's out of fuel, yes. So they had to do that. That's a big shame for the 42 then. It was that off that Jan Donze had when he was in the car, where they had to spend a whole lap crabbing around the Nordschleife. That really cost them third place, I think. And it's cost them a chance of fourth as well in the end. So that's the end of that battle. But it was entertaining while it lasted. Let's see if we can find anything else interesting going on. There is Suto, who's been catching Hallam Voice. The gap is now just under 12 seconds. But he's only got 11 minutes left to catch him, hasn't he? As the auto director seems very interested in the cars in the garage doing nothing at the moment.
Passing that's going to be the issue, as we just saw. There is absolutely zero place to overtake. Perhaps it's a little bit different for the GT3 cars.
Oh, and there's the class leading LMP2. Has to get alongside and just clears him before they get to the carousel. Oh, that was a bit scary.
And it takes so much cooperation from the LMP2 and GT3 drivers here to make a clean pass. The GT3 driver has really just got to appreciate that around this circuit,
and there's Suto.
You are going to lose time.
Voice has been looking just a little bit slow, and we saw him spin not too long ago as well. How's the steering looking on that Ferrari of Hallam Voice? Is it pronounced Voice or Voice or something like that? I always thought it was just Voice, like the thing you're hearing me use now. But yeah, certainly the steering looks okay. Looks like Hallam Voice is just trying to get under control to hold on to that second place. As we enter the final 10 minutes then. So it's really all down to Joseph Frederick Suto. He threw away the lead, but can he recover them up to second? In the
needs a second a minute here. And there will probably be... We could just see where the number 22 is. I mean, see whether Joseph Frederick Suto is going to have to do another 2 laps.
Here he is.
Because obviously at the line, the GT3 cars are that much slower than the LMP1 cars that they'll probably only have another single lap. It's Riboli. He just retired from the race?
Some time ago, actually, Riboli.
I thought I saw it flash up on the timing tower there. I say timing tower, not really a great deal of timing going on this tower right now. We've got that many DNFs.
The gap between Suto and Voice, 6 seconds now. He's really cut in. So this is going to get very interesting very quickly. But Seviana, as you can see, where is he actually? He's near the end of the second sector, I think. Yeah, there we go. He's ahead of Merguli on the road. Get to the he's the middle of sector 2, I think. There's a yellow there, actually. Not sure what that was about. Oh, it's Pascal slowing down a little bit. But thankfully still 300 seconds, nearly 400 to the good. Ahead of Segunas. So, yeah, I think we're going to get one, maybe more lap in. If Bertlin Seviana really pushes it, because he's just coming to the end of this one. I have to do a 6-minute... he'll probably only have about 7 minutes. He might get another lap in then. So
I think it'll be 2 laps unless he slows down, which I'd say...
And has Suto hit trouble? Or is that just the gap between him and...
Just ebbing and flowing naturally, I think. However, I think...
Yeah, 6 seconds.
It'd be merciful for Savania to slow down on the next lap. I think if he didn't, he'd be very, very foolish, especially around this circuit.
Well, at the same time, Mugen... They're not the kind that tend to avoid showboating, let's put it that way. As we look at Joe in vain trying to catch Joseph Frederick Suto, but Suto in turn slowly closing. I think Suto will get close, but I'm not sure if, unless he's really close on the back straight, I don't think there's a chance for him to get through, really. Certainly, we're going to get a grandstand finish for second in GD3, which is great to watch between these new teams as well. It's always great to see new blood showing what they're capable of. These teams really haven't had much experience in the World Championship. Oh, is it a World Championship? I guess we go to different places in the world. And Suto almost spins. And he does spin into the gravel. And that's it. Hallam Voice will surely take second place now. As Suto gets back on track again. But so easy to do at the end of a race there. Just get going too deep into the hairpin. And round she went there.
Another unique challenge of this circuit, actually, is the fact that the tyres wear so quickly that by the time you can't really drive on muscle memory, because by the time you get to a corner the next lap round, your tyres are in completely different condition to the first time.
And I can't wait to talk to, by the way, Into the Points racing after this one, because it's been an absolutely excellent performance. Pole position, they lost at the start, they had their difficulties, but they recovered, and they've beaten Mugen 21, the championship leaders, soundly, and this is really laying down their championship aspirations, isn't it? Because I think we're going to see a great battle in LMP2 between Iris, Mugen, Into the Points, and Valet. Look at Merguli. 120 seconds behind. Yeah, he's thoroughly been outclassed, it must be said. And I really thought Mugen might run away with this one in LMP2. It's worked out that way in LMP1 with admittedly only 3 cars. Agate wasn't really able to, and Sugunas weren't able to provide much opposition, admittedly. Although by their own standards, they've done amazingly well, it must be said. So that's, I think you've got to judge it by where they would usually, Pascal Agate and in the 137 team would usually finish, which would be like 5th or 6th, or near the back, and they're 2nd, which is certainly an impressive performance. Oh! And there's Pascal, just as I was praising him, spinning it at turn 13 and continuing on.
Is there any chance we could get a quick camera shot of where the leader is? The huge Lahoven.
There we go. He's just gone into. I think he might be able to squeeze in another lap here, provided he keeps it clean. Let's look
I don't think he wants to squeeze in another lap, which I think is the
last
important
lap
thing.
was 6:56.5, so only about 4 seconds off his best lap. So he's certainly pushing.
Well, I think Mugen, as he heads up to Flugplatz now, is going to be very tight. He's got to slow down on the straight, I think, surely. He's got a lap behind. You don't want to do another lap of the Nordschleife if you can at all avoid it. And I think it would be...
I think Saviano really likes this track.
I think it would be very silly for Mugen not to slow down on this lap and make the race finish a lap
think of it this way. Would having an extra lap, would they think, oh, what if Oliver Perikian runs out of fuel and that helps us win an LMP2?
I suppose that's one way to look at it. But... well, I think
the other way to look at it is our rivals are retired. We can take 2nd LMP2 and it'll be fine. But
exactly.
But on the other hand, they're racers. They're thinking if we can force Perikian to use more of his fuel, then we might get him. Or they might be low on fuel themselves in the 21. You never know.
Exactly, and I think really there's no point risking another lap at all. Because you never know what's going to happen in a lap.
Well, we shall see. Let's have a look at the last couple of sector times for... he's coming up to the end of Sector 1 now. Let's see what sort of time this is. Saviano is coming towards...
Reasonable time is in the region of the 2:20s. Waiting for RaceView to update.
Yeah, he's got a couple of corners to go, and then he's at the Sector 1 split.
Which means we'll have about a 10-second delay before we can see it on the race view, as per usual. But that's just an unfortunate thing with how it gets its data from the game.
Well, there we go, 2:17. Oh, he's actually set a fastest first sector of the race, 2:17.172. So I don't think that's a man slowing down to make sure that there's not another lap. I think they're trying something here.
I have to say, really do enjoy as chaos. I don't know how to say that word actually. What
are you talking about? I'm not following this because it's like
the old personality.
Right on the outside he goes of the Corvette. That's Suto, isn't it? Who was catching Hallam Voice, who's not far up the road, so Saviano will have to negotiate him soon as well. I think he's going for fastest lap here. He's showboating. There's a ghost.
Well, I have to say, I wouldn't appreciate Mugen taking everyone to another lap in this race. Because I think everyone is quite ready to jump on.
Unless he slows down right at the end, and this is just a sort of Saviano having some fun here.
I hope so. 1:57. He's only in sector 2.
Suto's got the gap down to 5 seconds again between himself and Voice, but it's gonna. The pressure is on Voice, but he's kept it clean, whereas Suto's been the one making mistakes. So
only in sector 2 is Savannah. So I wonder, even if he is going fast, is he going to be able to get another lap in? Because not coming up to the end of sector 2 very quickly, is he? He's still got a significant portion of the track to go. Has he been through the carousel yet, even?
Let me have a look. Where is he? The problem is that there's a bunch of cars there and it's not showing the number. I think he's the green one at the front of this. And he's got a minute left, so we're getting pretty close. It depends how fast he goes down the straights, doesn't it? I think he has been through the carousel.
Oh!
What's happened?
I've just seen Josh Birch into the commentary box.
Oh, hello.
And,
Join us right at the end, Josh.
They'll have to jump onto Mumble. I also believe F2's just finished, and I'll quickly get over to him.
Looks like is that Seviano slowing down. Anyway, you just joined us right at the end if you have, Josh.
Oh, hello.
Oh, there we go. You sound a bit exhausted, no doubt. F3, F2, F1 qualifying.
Oh, I am. But I thought I can't not stop by and literally make an appearance for the last 30 seconds. I thought I can't leave you out the Nordschleife.
Well, it's been the shortest race of the season, but it's great to have you on for the end, Josh. Burton and Seviana, he's got 18 seconds to go.
He's going to do another lap. He is, because I know for a fact that probably
he's cutting it pretty fine.
He is cutting it fine. 9, actually, I take it back. He definitely won't now. This will be the final lap of the race.
So here we go. It's been a dominant performance by the number 22 Mugen squad. They're going to take their first LMP1 win of the season. The clock runs out. The Mugen comes towards the line. They win the 4 hours of the Nordschleife. The green hell is theirs. What an excellent drive.
And it was a purple final sector, a purple final lap.
6 minutes 50.7. Fastest lap of the race.
So they were trying to do another lap.
Where is Perikian? Perikian is finished, I think.
He's DNF'd.
Oh no! What on earth happened there? He must have run out of fuel. Well, that means it's going to be Martin Maguli who takes Oh, but he was a lap down.
He's a lap down, so he's not going to count.
Oh, well, thank goodness. Mugen didn't get an extra lap in there because Perikian would have been in trouble.
He's going to be the first man in the history of EERC to win a race in the pit garage.
Well, nice, guys. We should do this again sometime.
Oh, but there's a battle going on, by the way. Well, we've been watching this. Oh, no, it's just ended. And Joseph Frederick Sudo fell just short of Hallam Voice in the battle for second.
0.2 of a second as well.
Wow. But Martin Maguli is going to take second position. But victory for the first time will go to Into the Points Racing number 46 in LMP2. Their first victory. And they will be over the moon. Arda Urson and Oliver Perikian. And let's not forget our winners in GD3. They'll be the last ones to cross the line. That will be, of course, Christian Toff at the wheel of the Aston Martin. When have you seen an Aston Martin win? Before.
Wow.
Whilst you go through the formalities, I'm going to jump off.
It's been great to have you join us, Tom.
Thank you very much. It was a
and congrats on the 4th
always.
place with Joe in
Thank you very
GD3.
much.
Yeah, a lap down, but still a great performance under 27. Yet to really start a race this season, finally getting it underway. And it wasn't all plain sailing, but certainly a very encouraging result for them. There's great points on the board, and with all the championship protagonists in GD3 absent, it's really the case of Team Imperium here in the 16 who've taken advantage. There wasn't the 4th place in the championship 444 for Von squad as we thought they would, with Mara Valencia having a big crash, T-boning on the LMP2s, flipping it over, and then taking out one of the that LMP2 in turn. Of course, we were taking out the LMP1 car of Jansen Bintz, the valet, for good measure.
Quite a good race, it sounds like, as well. I'm looking forward to
it was interesting.
catching up. Yeah. Apologies I've left you for, but I thought I'd just dive on for the last end of it as well, so I can help out and all that lot, because it has been a very busy day, as you say, covering... I've been up since, 2 a.m. doing MotoGPs.
Oh, yeah. I thought Adam had it bad. He was up at qualifying at like 7:30 in his time.
Oh, yes. And I swear I saw him hanging around at some point earlier on in the day as well. But
here we go. Team Imperium, the new boys, taking their first class win in ERC. The Aston Martin comes towards the line now. The Nordschleife is theirs. And what a brilliant result to see the Fringer Bond. That looks like that must be Larhoven taking his... Let's not forget about Fringer Bond taking their first LMP2 podiums in LMP1. Second for Pascal Eckert. What a brilliant result for Pascal and the team in the 137. And the 140 in LMP2 taking third in the hands of Larhoven, who struggled all season. There they are, all three of them in a little line there. Not to be outshone.
That's very 66 Le Mans, isn't it? That's beautiful.
I love it. Except they were in different classes, of course. But yes. Luckily, there was no engineering there. They were all only really... may not be the win, but podiums for them absolutely sound fantastic. And surely the first prototype win will come one day. But Pascal Eggert getting closer than they've ever done before. And very proud, and rightly so. But Christian Toff, the plaudits going to him, of course. Team Imperium coming out of nowhere to really... once Joseph Frederick Suto was leading, let's not forget in the 36, binned it, really. And Darren steering. Christian Toff came through. The number 16 crew came through. The Aston Martin and Team Imperium were imperious. And their victory is theirs. So, with that out of the way, shall we have a look at the final results?
Oh, let's. I'm looking forward to this one. It's a bit spoiler for me, but I don't care. Beautiful graphics. Once again, just like in the previous two races, I'm loving this. And of course...
Yeah, look at the German Parliament building. So, this will be very short, so I'll do the...
Over to you.
I'll do the LMP1 results, if that's okay, because there's only 4 or 5, sorry. 1, 2, 4, 5, yes. Numbers are a real strength of this game. So, Bert Van Seviana takes victory for Mugen Sim Racing number 22 in LMP1. A lap ahead of Pascal Eggert, taking his the team's best ever result in the 137. They were ahead of Christos Segunas, who took 4th. I think Segunas might actually still be on track somewhere.
Yeah, I think he's still
Rookie Monsters will take their first podium then in 3rd, ahead of the retirements. Jansen Bintz and Mishiro Arasaka. Team Iris won last time at Silverstone in their battle with Valet. Valet and Iris both failing to finish, and that really mixes up the championship. It means the Mugen 22 retake the lead for the first time then. And it certainly means they're in prime position now. But Josh, take us through the exciting LMP2 results, if you can.
I'll take it from you as well. It's number 46 then. With Oliver Parkan taking victory whilst doing it in the pit lane, retired. How about that for a bit of
32 laps
uniqueness?
then. That was all they needed.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, 32 laps ahead of this circuit as well in 4 hours. Oof, nicely done. Martin McGurley takes 2nd for the 21 squad as well. The 140 with Joel Lahoven, 30 laps down, takes 3rd place as well. Marl Everest is 4th in the 139 squad as well. 42 squad finishing in 5th position as well. With Flora Weeper at the wheel. Is that Weeper? I can't quite tell without my eye strain. Weckler, thank you very much. I'll stick with what you're saying. With Gorwowski taking 6th for the number 40 squad as well. With Bowley 7th to the 33. Bad day for them then.
Retired, yes.
Yeah. Alessandro Valente, oh no, in the 66 out of the race, all in 8th place. The 758 out of it is on 9th. And oh no, Tobias DNF'd.
Yeah, and retired from the lead. He had a computer freeze while leading. It was really unlucky. Early in the race too. But also retiring was Felix Newberger for Bottling Motorsport, only just behind Tobias, actually. And then David Martin, so he retired at the same time. And then David Martin, Michael Cole, also fell into it. A 72 reading game, really unlucky. But finally, GD3, Christian Toff and Team Imperium took their first victory, 28 laps. That's not bad going in a GD3. And Christian Toff, by a long way ahead of Hallam Voice, who are actually the 206. They only scored 2 points so far this season. They skate 2nd place. A brilliant performance by the Boyd Transport team. 206 for Hallam Voice and Roy Ton. I know Roy Ton will be very proud of that result, as will Hallam Voice as well. Who didn't have the easiest start to the race, but recovered brilliantly. Joseph Frederick Sudo could have been so much better for the 36. They take 3rd position in the end. Joe Gostistis, the Reading Game Studios number 27, their first appearance. The first race start, they take 4th, which is great for them. A lap ahead of Nick Hermod in the 444 squad. What could have been for them? They were leading when they had that horrible crash with Mario Valencia at the wheel. Then the DNFs. Joseph Toth in the 4 Street Boys 753. Ricardo Riva for EVA Racing Team number 58. Thomas Abascal, the number into the points, who were leading, but then it all fell apart for them. Abascal, the rascal, coming to disaster. And Tar Khanho and Bence Horvath also failing to finish. Bence Horvath had a brilliant first lap, last to 3rd, but then it all went wrong in that collision. And finally, Philip Mayer also failing to get to the checkered flag.
And on that, I'm going to have to disappear to go to a quick network, and I look forward to hearing you.
Well, it was
call
great
this
to have
one.
you. So hopefully, is there anyone left we can talk to? I would love to talk to Pascal, actually.
I think he's still
but
around.
also
Yeah,
the
Pascal's
Mugans.
there. Pascal's still around in the Final Von Motorsport 137 squad, so you can just drag him in if you like.
Good
But
idea.
thanks,
And
guys.
into the points as well. Let's get into the
Yes,
points
of
of
course, yes.
LMP2 winners. Anyway, goodbye, Josh.
Goodbye, Ed. Thanks, everyone.
Let's join our friends into the points racing. I know they will be delighted with that result. As a drag them in if we can. Into the points. Go on. Oh dear. Oh, let's give Oliver Parakian permission, shall we? Oliver, are you there? Sorry about that. Congratulations! I'm trying to drag the others in as well, but I've unfortunately got my little my mouse isn't playing ball. Where are they gone? Are they still in somewhere?
Yeah, I think they're in there.
Okay.
So no, they've bolted. They've escaped.
Oh no! Damn it! Well, I have to focus on it. So Oliver, congratulations! Into the points taking their first victory, and at the most fearsome of venues as well, the Nordschleife. Obviously, the start, there was pole position, and then the start, which was very tricky. You were in a great battle with the two Iris cars, and of course Mugen number 21 recovering as well. It all gave you trouble, but in the end, you won by a comfortable margin. And it, although you had that scare at the end with the retirement, but thankfully you were a lap ahead, so in the end it didn't matter. But did the fuel run out at the end, Oliver?
No, I disconnected from the server at the end.
Oh, yeah, so lucky escape there.
And we were all really confused as to what was happening. But yeah, I managed to rejoin the race, and I thought I was going to be second, because I knew I had a lap to P3, but I thought that the Mugen would have got us. But because they finished the race, because we got onto that next lap and they finished the race the previous lap, it meant that we still had the P1. So, yeah.
Yes, and of course, because the 22 leading the race didn't get to do that extra lap, and they just fell like literally about 10 seconds short. Because of that, even though they set the fastest lap of the race at the end, that meant that the 21 didn't get to do that extra lap to overcome you, because we weren't sure if you had enough fuel to get to the end. But but certainly it was a thrilling heart-in-mouth finish, even though you guys had it in the bag all along. So fantastic race, and that puts you well in the hunt in the championship now as well. A podium in Barcelona, a podium for the sister car in Silverstone, and now a win here. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, really, really happy with how this season's gone so far. I want to give a quick shout out to our GT3 driver, Thomas Abascal, because he had ridiculous pace today, and he got taken out by an LMP1 while leading by about half a minute. So commiserations to him. He's going to be
Yes,
back.
we saw that, and I think that LMP1 was the Valet, which subsequently got taken out itself. So karma, as Fernando Alonso might say.
Yeah, so great job by him, great job by everyone today, really, the whole team. And a podium in each race so far for IPR, so it's really happy with how this season has been going so
IPR,
far.
a team on the rise in many EER series indeed. So let's hope we haven't seen the last of Into the Points racing. Onto the podium, onto the victory, onto the top step. There we go. I don't know how. We need to change the team name to reflect its achievements somehow.
Yeah,
that's
we
what
just
I
level
feel.
up every time.
Yes, exactly. Surely Into the Championship lead will be the next one.
I feel like that's jinxing it though, because then what if we're not in the lead anymore? We have to change it to out of
well,
the
I think
championship
I
lead.
think the 21 is still in the lead in the championship, but still, you guys are second now, so that's a great achievement. Anyway, I'm going to get Team Imperium, who've just won their first race themselves, so all new winners at the Nordschleife. But thanks for talking to us, Oliver Parakan, and congratulations on victory.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, we're joined now by Christian Toff, and I'll try and get his teammates in as well. Let's see if Tamas, if I can drag him up into the commentary, and just unmute the both of you. Let's see if I can get Tibor in as well. We're joined now by the three drivers from Team Imperium, number 16, Aston Martin, of course. That would be Christian Toff, Tamas Jaeger, and Tibor Kiss. Guys, where did that come from? Congratulations on your first win in the EERC Endurance Championship, and what a place to do it at the Nordschleife. Christian, would you like to go first?
Thank you very much. That was a tough race. Nord is not easy, and I would like to thanks to my teammate Tibor. He doing very bad job.
A very good job, you mean?
Yeah, good job. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. No, that's all good. I'm sure Tibor will be very delighted to hear that. And Tamas, of course, another driver in the Team Imperium 16. It wasn't the easiest start to the race. Did you guys start on pole, or where did you guys start in the race? Because that was like 4 hours ago, so I can't remember. But it certainly wasn't. It certainly felt like you guys were up against it. But it was really a case of attrition, wasn't it? Once Abascal was out, once the 444 Frinavon car, Mary Valencia had crashed out, essentially, that it was a case of just keeping the steering together, wasn't it? And making sure that you built the gap behind. But once Joseph Frederick Suto hit the wall, it was really you guys controlled the race from there and did it superbly as well. Were there any scares in there? Any scary moments, or was it all plain sailing?
There is some mistake. My teammate is Tibor, and Tamas is the team HHR driver.
Ah, okay, sorry. Well,
And yeah,
but I thought I'd drag him in as well because HHR did pretty well themselves.
Yeah.
In the, I'd say, despite Joseph Frederick Sudo beating it from the lead, they still finished third in the end, which was a great result, and certainly a lot to celebrate for both squads. Any more to say on Team Imperium's first victory? Because surely the championship's wide open now, isn't it?
yes, we would like to finish the championship in the podium. So
In the top
that
three. Well, best of
yeah.
luck. I'm sure after that result, you guys have got plenty of momentum behind you. If you can do it at the Nordschleife, even in only 4 hours, then you can certainly do it at Interlagos and at the rest of the season. So we'll see you next month in Brazil, Christian, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
We've just been joined by Roy Ton from Boyd Transport Racing, who've just taken their first podium in GT3 in EERC. Roy, that was a monster stint by you in the Ferrari. A difficult start to the race with the 206 Ferrari getting in trouble, but the black car resumed, got back in the race, regained its confidence. Others dropped out, and hit problems. But you guys held firm, and there was a bit of a scare from Joseph Frederick Suto at the end. But Suto went in the gravel, and from then on, Hallam Voice was able to hold on to second place. You must feel delighted with that, because I know you guys worked so hard.
Yeah, I'm really happy with this result.
Well, that's great to hear.
Yeah, I did also know. I didn't know if my voice was working. So
Well, we
it's
can hear you
working.
loud and clear, Roy, and
All
your
right.
voice was certainly felt on track as well. There was such a scary race for the GDs in particular, with the LMPs going all around them at such tight, twisty parts of the Nordschleife, but certainly that Ferrari was quick out there and more importantly consistent, and stayed out of trouble after the first couple of laps. Because that start wasn't easy for you, was it, Roy?
No, it wasn't easy, and Hallam did a great job at the start, and I did very consistent lap times. Didn't expect it because of the track is so hard, but it was quite a nice drive, and Hallam did also a great drive.
I did, yes. So Hallam Voice, I know not quite as experienced as you, Roy, but certainly he's got some great. He used to drive for Royal Racing, didn't he? I think back in the day, and he's certainly actually he's quite experienced, isn't he? I forget, I misspeak completely, but certainly Hallam Voice really delighted and held on to that second place. But you did a fair portion of the work too, Roy. So let's not forget your contribution there. And now with that podium under your belt, you've got to feel like you only had 2 points before in the season going into that race, so certainly a big haul from the Nordschleife there. Do you wish every track could be like the Nordschleife, Roy, or do you think it's nice to go to more traditional tracks?
Give me more traditional tracks, and also my teammates. I think they have the same opinion. Give the traditional
yeah, I saw Hallam
tracks.
spinning a couple of times, so he didn't have his race wasn't completely without error, but it was a long way behind the Team Imperium car that did win the duty-free class. But certainly, it was a very, very strong performance otherwise.
Yeah. Also, the LMP2 car, the teammates were saying, give us the traditional tracks that suits us a bit better. But
the number 40, wasn't it, that finished?
Yeah, indeed.
Of course, the 40 finished, I think, in 6th position. So they were just, I think they were the second to last. So Guzowski he had a very scary moment. They flipped over multiple times at one point. Did you see that on stream? We were watching that, and they did a little bit of a break dance, which was quite hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did that. But it sounds like Guzowski might be feeling a bit sick if he had VR headset on or something.
Yeah, I drive with VR, so I'm happy I had a clean race.
Oh, indeed. Well done indeed. Because Nordschleife in VR, not the. It's a pretty scary experience, I imagine. So no wonder you prefer traditional circuits. But anyway, thanks for talking to us, Roy. I don't think anyone else wants to speak to us, unfortunately. So you might be the last one, unless Alessandro fancies a chat. But he didn't have a great race, unfortunately. Let's see if Alessandro and Chris will come in. But thanks very much for joining us, Roy, and I hope you enjoy your second place and have a good, lovely evening.
Yes, thank you very well.
We'll see you again in Brazil.
Yeah, you will see us in Brazil.
Okay, all right, we're just being joined by Alessandro Valente and Chris Davis, who I'm just dragging in at the moment. So, Team Iris 66 now join us after what was, unfortunately, a very difficult race for the pair. Alessandro, Chris, it was your debut. It was going really, really well. And then a little mistake led it to all unravel for the 66. So how do you guys reflect on that? It was a difficult track, and you weren't the only guys to fall afoul and fall into trouble there. But I'm sure you'll be wishing you had a better time of it. Oh, have I unmuted them both? No, they've gone away. They're not there. Okay. Well, never mind. I'm sorry, guys. I was hoping Alessandro might be around. Alessandro's muted himself, so he must still be around somewhere. Alessandro, are you there? No. Okay, we can't hear Alessandro. Or Chris. So we will not hear from Team Iris number 66. I think the silence says it all. It speaks volumes about their race. But unfortunately, that's about all we got time for.
What's going on?
Oh, hi,
Hello.
Alessandro.
Hi.
We thought we'd just squeeze an extra interview in there.
Yeah. I heard your question. It was good. We were chilling. We had like a 1 minute 20-second lead, but it wasn't meant to be in the end, I guess.
Nah, but it was still a great performance by you guys. You could take some solace from that at least.
Yeah.
Even the result didn't go your way, but certainly it was an exciting race. You guys worked your way to the front beautifully, and it was just Chris got a little bit unlucky, I think, from what I gather, and it just unravelled from there.
Both cars. We were both led at one point, so I mean it's good for the team, I guess.
But certainly Iris will be looking to bounce back then at Interlagos. Good circuit for you, and of course you'll be driving for me in the touring cars. So it's a shame you had you had a difficult time in touring cars here as well, where your car got damaged, but you still held on to finish on the podium in both races. So it's a shame it couldn't happen again here, but I'm sure you'll be back to your best in Interlagos. Oh, hey Chris.
Hello, sorry, I was trying. I heard you. I forgot I was in here, to be honest. But
I dragged you in. I didn't really.
Yeah.
The problem is you asked for permission, and then no one ever gets back to you, so you sort of have to drag people in.
And I was trying to faff around with my mic. Yeah, unfortunately, I just fucked it. I made one error, and it just kind
I apologise for Chris's language there. But anyway, it's my fault you swore, not yours. I let you get away with it.
Yeah, I made one error. Got a load of steering damage, and once we pit, because I think we could have probably got like third or fourth out of it, but for some reason the rear tyre didn't change. And I think we had some permanent damage out of it, so it's just kind of game over from there. Really sucky, because could have been a win right out the bat with Iris. But
yeah, it's interesting I don't invite Nick Comerford in to speak, because the 444 had a similar incident where Mario Valencia lost the wheel. They tried to change to Nick Comerford. Valencia got penalty, Valencia got in the car again, and the wheel was missing, and they had to do the GP loop without the wheel and the penalty. Then they got the wheel changed, and then Nick Homewood had to drive. So it wasn't ideal for them. But they still got points out of it, which is great for their championship. But,
yeah, it was really frustrating. I mean, I was feeling good, but then as soon as I got in the car, I was just feeling really inconsistent. I wasn't hooked up at all.
Well, the good news is, Chris, that next up is Interlagos, which should be a more traditional circuit, and therefore you should have a much better chance of getting a better result there, because Iris have been extremely quick in LMP2 all season, and they haven't had the rub of the green. They haven't won LMP2 class, but they did win LMP1 at Silverstone, so Iris definitely wants to watch for the rest of the season, and let's not give up all hope just yet on the championship.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, but anyway, thanks for talking to us, guys. I hope you have a lovely evening. I think I'm going to go off air now. I don't think we've quite got time to talk to Nick Homewood, sadly, unless he really wants to jump in. I could just drag him in and see what he has to say about his race. Hope he isn't busy talking to Chris Tompkins. Hey, Nick. Do we have time for a quick interview about the 444's race?
Sorry, I was ordering pizza.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, well, you carry on ordering pizza.
No, I'm good. I've ordered the pizza.
Oh, that's good. I came in at just the right time then. So just a very quick reflection, Chris, on the 444. A golden opportunity to gain points in the championship. I guess you still finished 5th, but it didn't quite go to plan, did it? Especially when Mario had that immense crash where he gave Richard Sismiarda a bit of a nightmare and heart attack in one, where he flipped him over. Mario just made a mistake, didn't he? And went off, and that was really where it all went wrong for the 444, because there was that wheel missing, doing the whole of the Nordschleife without the wheel, doing the whole of the GP loop without the wheel. Was it you trying to get in that sort of just forced the wheel to disappear again? Because you spent like 5 minutes waiting for repairs, and then nothing happened.
It was an R-factor bug.
Not the first one that happened. That happened at Silverstone as well with the grip, didn't it?
But Mario came in. We repaired the wheel, and then I went out, and there was still no wheel. I thought it was my brake pedal.
Did Mario take the wheel with him?
Yeah, he must have done. And then I came in again and switched back to Mario, and there was still no wheel. So we pitted about 3 or 4 times, and we just didn't have a wheel every time. So we lost about a lap there. Could have easily been P3 even with the accident, but hey.
That happens sometimes.
We're
and
still, yeah.
That's still 10 points though in the championship.
Already, I think 13 points off the championship lead.
Yeah, that's not bad at all, especially with up at Imperium are going to be quite the force to be reckoned with now, aren't they? Because they had a great race.
This wasn't the strongest track for me, definitely. I couldn't get any pace out of the car, but the tracks that...
Fingers crossed Mugen don't come back, because otherwise they're going to walk away with this title the way things are going.
But the next tracks, I mean, Brazil's one of my favourite... Interlagos is one of my favourite tracks.
Indeed, so we'll be expecting great things from you, Nick.
Oh, absolutely. Easily going to win the race, overall as well, not just GT.
But anyway,
good optimism.
So Nick, as Chris Tompkins has joined us as well. I'm not sure if Chris wants to say anything, our race director, but any final thoughts before we sign off the broadcast and look forward to Interlagos? We've had 3 excellent races and loads of different winners, it must be said. And including a couple of new winners today as well. So, you happy about that, Chris?
Yeah, sure, I guess. I'm looking forward to Interlagos a bit more. Hopefully more people can finish.
More of a normal track.
But I kind of joined because me and Nick were talking in sewers before he moved in here.
Sorry, I just wanted to...
He was shouting "give" for his pizza, and I just hear the disconnect noise, and I'm just kissing myself with laughter.
Sorry, I tend to be a bit impatient because most of the time when I ask if people want to chat, they just don't respond, so I just end up dragging them in anyway. But I got a good few interviews there with some of the winners. Mugen, of course, disappeared immediately because they're scared of me, I think. I'm the only person they're scared of in this championship.
Want to avoid the commentator's curse.
Indeed. But they avoided it in LMP1 at least, although... I think even with the curse, it would have been difficult for them to lose this race. But Pascal had a brilliant... It was great to see our friend Pascal finish second and get his best result in LMP1.
Did he? He would have liked to talk.
Yeah, so Friavon did great in all the classes except for GD3. So.
Oh, we were doing great.
That's true. It was going well up to that point. But
yep.
Can't go well in every class, it seems. It's only Mugen who are ever able to get a class lockout. One day, maybe it will happen for 301, but today, overall, a pretty good day for the Dutch team. But anyway, that's all from us and the Eifel Mountains in Germany. The Green Hell took its victims today. I think there was like, at least 16 or 17 retirements in that race. But those who finished did brilliantly. So well done to everybody. Well done to Chris and everybody in Race Direction. And well done to you for getting through all 4 hours of the Nürburgring Nordschleife. We'll see you again in Interlagos on the 10th of April, is it? For the touring car race, and then 17th of April for, or is it 19th? It's one of them. I was wrong. It is 19th, isn't it?
16th.
16th. Okay, even sooner.
Yeah,
there we go.
chance.
So 10th for the touring cars in Interlagos, 16th for the EERC round 4 of the Endurance Championship. Don't miss it. Actually guaranteed. Hope you had a good time. Bye.